Here we go. What a night we got with news. So much news breaking. It's going to be fantastic. Want to say what's up to everybody out there. We're going to have a great CrossFire tonight. Great already chat out there. So you guys are really active. Shout out to T-Rock. Shout out to Ocelot. Powler. I see all you guys out there. You're fantastic. Please hit that like button. Shout out to Mary Wilcox. By the way, Mary, just want to say that our thoughts and prayers are with you and your mom, and hoping that she has a speedy recovery. We'll be thinking about her week in and week out. So thanks for being here tonight, Mary, even though you're going through some things. It really means a lot to the show and to the chat. Shout out to Mary Wilcox, everybody. But real quick, I do want to say this. I want to say thanks to everybody for being here and also coming over to twitch.tv and supporting Mooch. We're doing a little bit of a change up this week. We usually do Saturdays. I just want to give a quick shout out. We're doing Friday afternoon, and then we're going to be doing Sunday morning instead of Saturday this week. So shout out to Blaze 4K and Lazy Vibes. We're going to be doing that tomorrow. Twitch.tv, Mooch TV. Drop the O's for zeros. Go over and check that out. It's right there below that fantastic description. You can go over there and follow us on Twitch. Got to continue our Dark Souls 3 run, and then we're going right into Halo CE after that. So it's going to be a really great summer as we progress over there on Twitch. But that being said, we've got an outstanding show. Great panel here tonight. And we have more people joining us as the hour progresses. So just put your seatbelt on, make yourself some popcorn, get yourself a drink. It's going to be an outstanding show. Please, guys, hit that like button. Let people know we're live here in New York. It really means the world to me. And if you want to become part of the Mooch Maniac family, just hit that join button. It's above the description. And I can't thank you guys enough. That being said, let's get to this fantastic panel. I've got the one and only Death Singer who's back with us. And like I said, Death Singer's like, I don't really check who's following me on X, but he's blowing up. He's blowing up because I got to be honest with you. You love his takes. You either love him or you hate him, but you love to listen to him. Nonetheless, DS, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. Bit hot, but I mean, everyone decided to drop their bad news today, which is good.
That's right.
A good day to do it, and I'm sure there's more bad news to come. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. I'm still waiting for Nintendo and PlayStation. Oh, they're coming. Don't you worry about that. It's gonna come down the pipeline at some point. Because Micron decided, they're gonna cash in and lock RAM prices for 5 years. Like, they're not going to drop, so you're fucked because they ain't going to move. And then they'll be like, that is the price. You pay it or you fuck off. And guess what? You're not going to fuck off.
I see.
I mean, so Micron's leveraging it, and I'm like, well, there we go. So for the next 5 years, RAM prices are going to be what they are now. So have fun with that. And it's crazy time out there, especially with GTA being what it is. So.
Yeah, well, everything you kind of mentioned, some of that holds water. I do think that you might see. I'll ride with you on the price increases, DS, but I think that you're actually thinking more along the lines. I think PlayStation probably goes back up again next year. I think they want to hold these prices and really lock down that they want those big numbers for the console sales. That means an absolute tremendous amount to the investors. They want to see those numbers.
2027, they'll raise it. And then when they release the PS6, because of the 5-year high now, they're locked in for 5 years. That's going to affect the PS6 guaranteed and Helix. So
we will
you ain't getting no discount.
Well, Helix is a whole nother question, mystery wrapped in a puzzle, to be honest with you, because we're hearing they're taking that back, going back to the boardroom, figuring out what's going to happen. I should say the drawing board. But we'll, like I said, we'll find out as the year progresses a little bit more about Helix. Shout out to the great Nib who's here with us. Nib on his PlayStation. We're wondering what game is he going to platinum during the show. Nib, how you doing, buddy?
I was gonna play Pragmata, but yeah, that's annoying. I didn't. The Micron news didn't come up on my algorithm, but that would have been a easy trade. Never mind. It is what it is. Apparently, it went up 15%, 16% today on that news.
Wow.
The share price.
Well, there you go. Someone behind the scenes. Hope there was no insider trading on that, Nib. No,
there would have been. With this current administration, it's a foregone conclusion. It's foregone conclusion.
Almost guaranteed, right, Nib? There you are.
Yeah,
you heard it here
it's
first.
Not what you know, it's who you know these days.
Great to have you, buddy. The great Wolfgang is back with us. Wolf, outstanding to have you. As always, we are not light on news, so I can't wait to hear, as you've been extremely active on X again this past 7 days, buddy. Great to have you back on the show. How you doing, Wolf?
Oh, I'm good. It's been a crazy week. It's making me sit here and realize, damn, I am so happy I invested in all this hardware early.
Yes, I hate to say it. Usually I say if it's within your means, Wolf, I say this all the time, I've been saying it for years. Go out. Never before has an early adopter gotten this kind of payoff before. So I would say if you want, because who knows, if what DS is saying and what the panel's probably going to say tonight, that $80 and $100 price tag for GTA 6 is probably going to be $100 and $120 as we go further through the year. So go ahead and pre-order that game. I'm just kidding. Do what you got to do. But nonetheless, it seems like early adopters are making out this generation, which is very, very, very unusual as far as we've always known in the business. And then shout out to the great Willie Gamer who's back with us. Willie, great to have you here, buddy. It's been a while, and you're like, hey, listen, Mooch, I got everything back working. Everything's up and running. It'd be great to come on. And let me tell you something. You know when you see that actual, I don't know what the hell it is, the GIF that's out there where the guy walks in with the pizzas and the whole place is on fire? This is the week you came back when everything's lit up. So, buddy,
I chose
great to have
you.
Didn't
I?
He chose a hell of a week. A hell of a week, buddy.
It's so good. It's so good to be back. I got the sense that Twitter was needing me. To
Did you
to
think
kind
that?
of bring the hard, cold, woolly facts and woolly logic to these suckers who are eating shit. All the capping and crazy talk.
He just saw all the bad news and was like, "Oh, I ain't missing this."
Right, that's what I think. That's what I think.
No,
That's what I think too.
To be fair, to my credit, I came back last week before all this shit hit the fan. Nevertheless, mate, I'm excited, bro. I feel like, I got my profile pic has changed. I got my GTA background going on, my cell shaded profile pic.
You're looking buff, dude. I gotta say, you've been hitting that gym hardcore,
mate. In 7 gym sessions, I've lost I've gained some crazy. Mind you, it's all muscle memory because I've always been a big lad. But I've been really hitting that gym and I'm feeling good.
To be honest, I've been working out a lot as well, like these burgers and chicken, like doing dumbbell curls with them. Building up the rolls.
It's hard work. All that chewing, bro. You've been mewing. You've been
building up the Michelin rolls. It's hard work, man. It's hard work.
Chewing all that food that mate. I know you eat like a king. But I'm looking forward. I'm just looking forward to experiencing GTA 6 on the best console to play it on. I'm looking forward to Dessinger buying a PS5 because he promised that he would if GTA 6 runs at 60 FPS on PS5 Pro. So I'm looking forward to seeing him having to fork out 800 quid not on naked character skins for League of Legends, but on an actual games console that really offers amazing games. And yeah, bro, like I'm hyped. I've just rebooted up Crimson Desert. I'm playing Crimson Desert from scratch, starting it all over again with all the updates. And yeah, life is good, bro.
You started it again. So now your completion time will be 2,000 hours.
I was just going to say that.
Pretty much.
Well, you better. Well, Willie, you better get your Crimson Desert time in now, buddy, because starting in August, buddy, that is going to change big time. Absolutely big time.
Cool, August is set to destroy my financial, my credit rating, everything, bro. It's crazy. I'm booking a month off work in November for GTA. I'm gonna ask my mum to call me once a week just to make sure I'm still alive.
We'll check on you. We'll make sure you're still breathing, buddy. We got your back. Don't you worry about it. We got our first topic here. Shout out to Babor. Babor, I'll read this. I always have to read somehow the PG-13 version of Babor. But Babor, I appreciate the super chat. It's working. He says, Singer, why are your fellow Gabe followers saying it's industry's fault, but PlayStation is greedy. Steam Machine is an insult to gaming. Series S-like. Shout out to Babor. The show can start. So I will say, DS, let me go to you real quick, DS. I want to say, I was talking this about Wooly before the show started. We were like, oh, maybe console wars are going to be a thing again. But is it console wars or is it really platform wars, right? The Steam Machine was announced. We've got the different prices. We'll talk about the prices as we go through. And believe me, Nib's got a spreadsheet out. But DS, here's a situation where, okay, pricing is going up around the world, right? We're seeing that everywhere. So we'll talk about the erratic pricing a bit. But the thing is you may say, come on, Mooch, it's not that bad. Things are all going up. If the performance was there, I've watched like that Linus Tech Talk, and shout out to those other guys that do all these in-depth breakdowns, and they're not even happy with it. They're like, listen, it's a nice little box. It does kind of what they said, but for the price, and it doesn't come with a controller. We were giving PlayStation crap for not having a stand. This doesn't come with a controller. So it's like, trying to get people into the console space. DS, where is it not just you yourself, but where do you think a lot of the PC community falls with not just the price index, but also the performance output?
Oh, it's a spectacular fail. Because it's like they must have known the prices would increase. Bear in mind, you're using, obviously, nothing is going to get cheaper. Now, if it came in like when the one engineer hinted that it'd come around the price of what the Steam Deck used to be, so like what 500, 600, that's more palatable to a lot of people. But because of the price raises, now it's 1,000 plus, and it's like, why would you buy this? It's the same thing I have to say with the Steam Deck. It's like, I cannot recommend you buy this now. Like, if you wanted you may as well get yourself a mini PC, pre-built PC at this point, because you could pick them up relatively cheap. They're about the same form factor, maybe a little bit bigger. Like, you could get a mini PC so small that you could just carry around in your hand like luggage. You could just put it in your luggage and take it with you, right? PC on the go. And it's got like a 5060 in there, so it's not a slouch. It beats everything around it. And you pay like, what, 1,000 for it or whatever? Mm-hmm. So you may as well just do that at this point. Get HDMI, plug it up to your TV and do it that way, and you get a far superior performance. So it's for like niche people, but Valve, it's not platform wars because Valve really don't care because they dominate the PC platform. They're not really going to try to encroach on the console platforms because it's like, well, PlayStation and Nintendo are doing their thing. Mm-hmm. Xbox is struggling. So they're like, well, you can have that because we just dominate PC, right? So it just makes no sense why they'd want to get in. They had an idea. The problem was they were too late. They should have released this years ago. They waited too long.
I agree with that. I think the timing.
If they released this years ago before the price increases, it might be a different story. But
it's not even comparable to a 3070 rig that I bought 5 years ago after I got married. Like, it's not even comparable. It's like it's crazy. It's a 1080p 30 FPS machine. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
I got to say,
Series S of the PC gaming space.
It's worse because it's out in 2026, and I do think there's just fundamental design issues with it or problems. Like I was reading earlier today from Moore's Law that one of the reasons the series, and by the way, this is kind of already confirmed because what's her name, Asha Sharma, did say that they're doing much worse than their competitors on hardware pricing because of decisions that were made years ago, her exact words, right? And
he'll be right back.
Yep.
Nib will be right back after these words.
Yeah.
Nib needs his hydration break.
Yeah, I think I guarantee you I know what happened. He's using, believe it or not, even I think he comes through pretty clear, and he's using the PlayStation controller to podcast. I really think
Isn't there a new Asus NUC, an Asus NUC PC, which is like more performative than like a 5090, and it's like in a tiny little box that you can take away with you anywhere, and it's selling for like $3,000 or something. Am I right? It was like announced like 4 weeks ago. Yes. Asus have developed this super chip, right? And it's like this chip, this SoC that is absolutely insanely powerful. It's like an absolute beast.
What's the price on it though?
It's like $3,000, but it's all consolidated, bro. It's like a mini super console, and it's like it's just what Deathsinger was talking about before about competitors are coming out with mini PCs with you can literally stick in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Asus are trying to lead the industry in that regard. They're coming out with, mate, they skimped out on the ROG Ally. They skimped out. Bro, it's so expensive for what it is. You can get for almost the same price, a little bit more. You can get a Win 5 handheld, which is like 3 times more powerful than the ROG Ally. It's than the ROG Ally X. It's basically the power of a high-end gaming PC in a handheld console. The advancements being made right now in the handheld gaming space are so insane that in 5 years' time, you're gonna have basically supercomputers in your hand that can play all the current games out now at ultra settings, 120 FPS. No issues. It's mad.
I think that the one thing that comes to that, and Wolf, I'll go to you on this because Willie brings up a good parallel discussion to it. Is even if you are talking about handhelds and the way things are going, because we know it's rumored that PlayStation wants to have a handheld. Of course, Nintendo has struck gold, right, with their handheld. But the one thing that Nintendo does is they really make sure that you get the dock with it, right? So you get that process. So you can still have that feeling of that sitting on the couch. You don't have to always walk around, have it in your hand.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that really is a necessity when it comes down to the handheld market. Wolf, what do you think? What did you see? Because you've been really paying attention.
By the way, Mooch, before he goes, did I cut off earlier, or could you guys hear me?
We could not hear you. You cut off, and usually you come back in a second or two. You were just gone.
Yeah, weird. All of you cut off. I was a bit okay. Cool. Never mind.
Yeah, sorry, but Nib, hold your thought after Wolf. I did want to hear what you were finishing up some great stats. But Wolf, you've been following this too. Wolf, I know that I don't think you were in the market. I don't want to speak for you. I don't think you were in the market for the Steam machine. But I guess the question I'd have for you though, Wolf, is you saw what's going on with Apple. You were reporting their prices and how things went up there. Like, this is a situation where you have DS and he's not representing the entire PC community, but even shout out to Blessed Red in the chat. Blessed is saying you could do better with your money than grab that Steam machine. If I was reading it right, Blessed. Wolf, why would they even put this out at this point? I mean, you can go get a base PS5. Forget the Pro. You can get a Pro too, but you can get a base PS5 that performs at the same or better on multiple games. Where are they really? Where's their customer? They've even lost some of the niche that were like, oh, I'll get it because I want to play some of my Steam games in my living room. But do you want to play in your living room now, reducing it down to either 1080p or 1440p, sometimes at 30 or 40 frames? It's not even hitting 60 frames at 1440p. I mean, what they showed with Forza Horizon 6 was like, downright frightening for the price.
Listen, I don't understand what their thought process was with this. I mean, I get it. They've just been sitting in a warehouse for God knows how long, already made and ready to go. But man, listen, those specs, when they first revealed the specs officially, I said, okay, if the price is right, then maybe this might pass for certain people. But man, starting at 1,000 without a controller.
That's the thing. I even tweeted that out, Wolf.
Oh, man.
I even tweeted out. I said, and I added. I said at Valve. I said, listen, they're not listening to me. I'm just saying, at least have the decency to throw the controller in every package. I don't. That's the least you could do. I mean, I understand you're taking a hit, and the other rumor that's out there is that these large inflated numbers are because they're not going to take a loss on the hardware. So okay, you don't want to take a loss on the hardware and what you bought in the box. Okay. Take a loss on that $100 controller, which is probably only $60. Take a hit somewhere. I mean, it's a $100 controller, but maybe 60 their cost.
SKU pay me.
Yeah, they did. They did say that. They really did. I mean, I don't know. It kind of bugs me. Shout out to Moonshot. He says we got Wooly, Wolf, and Nib on the same panel. DS better come correct tonight. He says zero cap and BS contradictory redirect will be tolerated. Shout out to Moonshot. And Glitzer says you could buy a PS5 and a Switch 2 or a Steam machine. I mean,
I shit you not. I came back to Twitter after 8 months of being away to have some people messaging me today, going in response to my tweets, going, why have you blocked Death Singer and stopped reply and why are you deleting the comments?
Remember something, Willie. Sometimes people are just trying to get a rise out of you. I don't believe that was DS sending out messages.
Guys, Willie DM me privately. He said Death Singer has him shaking.
It was all about that bullshit narrative that the Ace of ROG ally.
Let's not start.
Let's not go. Yeah, Willie, we're not going there. We're not going there.
Let's keep on.
We lost.
Let me finish what I was saying earlier. Right. I think one of the things he was saying that Xbox and even the Steam machine are behind even PlayStation on pricing is because they use the CFS Express SSDs, which are like sort of the smaller, they're like bite-sized versions that photographers and stuff use. And those have actually gone up in price a lot more than standard SSDs. And I did check, like a 2 terabyte CFX Express card has quadrupled in price. Whereas like the one I bought at the launch of the PS5 2 terabyte, that's roughly doubled, I think. So I can see that. But again, these things, I'm just thinking, why make these weird design decisions with the Steam machine and with the Series X that kind of put you at a loss in the long term? I just think PlayStation has been a lot smarter with the design of their system. Smaller fab, lower transistor count, higher clock speed, traditional SSD, non-proprietary. They've just done a lot of clever things that 5 years later have benefited them. And even Asher Sharma said, we made bad decisions on hardware 5 years ago that affecting us today.
Yeah, but you say so.
They're on crack for that 8 terabyte they just put out.
Yeah, I know, man. What the hell is going on? It's crazy.
I said, does that say over $2,000?
Yeah. I give shit to Series S sometimes for the hardware design decisions, but I legitimately think the Steam machine takes the cake. I think it's one of the biggest blunders and or hardware design decisions that I can think of in a long time. Because imagine releasing a system that's for a 2 terabyte, $1,400, over $1,400, and can't compete with a base PS5 that was already not powerful enough even at launch, really. And that thing launched, 6 years ago. It's actually crazy.
And they backtracked on that statement. They said 4K 60. No, that's not what we meant. That was a typo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is wild because
I know why Steam are doing it, and I understand what they're trying to do. They are actually in a platform war,
right?
But it's with Windows. They want to push the Steam OS to everything.
Yeah, I did see a video on that. Yes.
They released the new Steam OS and they want that to overtake Windows as the primary gaming because as much as everyone, is like, well, you use Windows when you game on PC. But if we're keeping it a stack, Linux is so much better than Windows when it just comes to pure gaming performance because Windows gives you all this bloat, all this extra
very lightweight
you never fucking asked for. And they're just developing it. Now, yes, they do have problems. Like they're trying to work with NVIDIA to make NVIDIA cards work better with Linux. But
that's the key right there.
And they're trying to get Linux to a point where, if you notice handhelds, they want it to be Steam OS, not Windows handhelds. They want you to use Steam.
Where I have to take kind of issue with the whole philosophy, though, Dessinger, is I always hear PC cats say, oh, it's a PC, compare it to other PCs. But you can't really compare it to other PC component manufacturers because they get a price from AMD, NVIDIA, whatever. They have their markup on top, right? So you're comparing to PC components that already have high margins already included in the price. So we're paying, instead of sort of a Steam machine having their wholesale mass, volume discount, and then kind of putting any of that onto us, their machine is actually more expensive than if you were to buy all the parts retail. Obviously, the form factor is different. But the reason I take umbrage with that is the Steam machine is very different from other vendors like Asus and MSI and etc. Because the Steam machine, by selling that box, keeps people entwined into their ecosystem and platform and continuously getting a 30% store cut. Same way that consoles do, right? If they sell you a PlayStation 5, they get that 30% cut in perpetuity, right? Just like Nintendo, just like Xbox. So there is a more of an incentive to sell that hardware than just a typical hardware manufacturer. So when people compare the Steam machine just to regular PC off-the-shelf parts that have high margins, I can't agree with that, because they have a completely different incentive and business model. Those other hardware manufacturers aren't going to get 30% cut forever off the back of that hardware, whereas Steam is on the Steam machine.
Well, no,
so
but the point of Steam Machine is to get Steam OS out there, the same as the Steam Deck, right? If you wanted to have a comparison, you compare the ROG Ally to the Steam Deck, right? One Windows, one Linux. And then you have
they have a Steam Deck for that already.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, but they want more stuff out there. It's like the Frame, their VR, they want to put out there, right? They want people, because Steam has a ton of VR games, as everyone knows, if you've gamed on PC. And they want to get in that space as well. Now, are they doing a bad job at it? Absolutely.
But that's what I mean. I think it's a strategic blunder.
But then again, it's not exactly their forte. They're a storefront. They're not a console manufacturer.
What I don't understand is why they didn't just create a dock for the Steam Deck, like a powerful integrated GPU monster dock that would basically super enhance your Steam Deck to a 4K 60.
The dock would have only given you a GPU. You still would have needed a bigger CPU.
Yeah,
like that would have solved the whole problem.
Well,
that's the one. That's the one thing about the Steam
limitations.
machine. Actually, the CPU is stronger than the PS5.
Yeah, a dock would only solve half the problem.
Now, see, here's the thing. I was listening to what DS was saying, and DS actually, again, I watched a few videos where that was the intent. But if they really did want to use the Steam machine as the Trojan horse to get Steam OS out there and Linux-based out there, you have to understand that this is not a new model. It's been happening since the days of Nintendo and Sega Genesis. You take a hit on the console. You take a hit on the console, and they went and did full
less
price.
Margin.
Or less margin. But I think in this case, I don't know if their margin's massive, Nib.
No. So I agree, and this is what what's his name, Kepler, was saying. Right? He was saying either they're taking a big margin, which they're saying they're not, or he said it's basically shit design and they're getting shafted. One of the two, and unfortunately, I think it probably is the latter. Right?
That's crazy because they were praised for what they did and accomplished with that Steam Deck. So to see that
the Steam Deck was actually a good device. The Steam
Deck just sorry, Death Finger, carry on.
Oh no, I'm done.
I was just saying, bouncing off Wolfgang's point. But then, all right, you could have an amazing dock for the Steam Deck as it currently is, and there would be some CPU limitations there. Nevertheless, it would still be a huge enhancement. And then they could release a professional Steam Deck. They could release finally what everybody's asking for, not just an OLED screen, but a more powerful Steam Deck, specifically designed to maximize the potential with that dock. And they wouldn't have to go all out on the GPU. They could just put most of the investment into the CPU and let the dock work the most on the GPU aspects of the console. So and that way people would be more than happy to fork out a higher amount of money for a handheld because it's considered a more premium product than a console. And so this pricing for a console, for a Steam Deck that's on paper 4 times more powerful than a Steam Deck, but at the same time it's so much less performant than even current gen consoles. It's outrageous, really. And I just think, obviously I'm not the CEO of Steam or anything, and I'm not some genius fucking business guy, but to me, as a consumer, I would have found a dock and then a later released Steam Deck Professional with a better CPU a far more appealing prospect that would have got people spending, especially the enthusiasts. Everybody really would be worshipping Gabe after that. It's Alex would be well happy. and you, Death Singer, would be insufferable because you'd be chucked to bits.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like Valve are stepping into an arena where they're new to this. Like, they don't belong here. It's not like they have 20 years of making consoles and shit, right? Valve has just been a store for the past 20 years. And they've done nothing and won, essentially, which is the famous saying for Steam: "Do nothing and win."
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
And it seems every time they do something, like the Steam machine, they lose. It's like, just don't do anything and win.
But here's the thing, I think that's why it was more important for them to make a splash, because it's like PlayStation when they came into the market, right, with the PS1, or even Xbox. Like when you're doing your first sort of like console like PC box, and that is the market that you want to attract. Because remember, all of us here would have actually considered a Steam machine if it was competent and, you know, decently priced, right? Because why not? Why not have your Steam games on your TV in a really, you know, neatly small package, you know, that can look good in your living room, on your entertainment system, etc. Like, I would love that personally. It's just this is overpriced and underpowered, so I would never consider it.
Yeah, it's too.
But
Usually
I just think it's such a missed opportunity.
You know, it really is a missed opportunity because I was in the camp. I'm thinking maybe I'll pick this thing up. I'm thinking about it, and then I'm like, well, the thing about it is the performance on it being. It's one thing to actually swallow the jagged pill of price, and then you're like, okay, wait a minute. This thing is still going to be pretty damn powerful. I'm going to get to enjoy that same experience. Like I say to a lot of people, you know, if you work at a desk all day and you got a monitor in front of you, yeah, come home and play some games. You're like, I like sitting on the couch relaxing. To be able to go back and forth between your powerful PC or your PC and in your living room, there was something there, Nib. There really was something there. But the price to performance is just, and it's just mind blowing. Now that brings up another point, Nib. I'll start with you on this because I know you do follow this a little bit more than some of the others that I know in the community. Is I find it very interesting how the gaming news and press coverage kind of handles this stuff, right? Because like IGN gave, I think the Pro, I think it was a 7. I think they gave the Pro a 7, right?
Switch 2.
And Switch 2 a 7. And then they gave the Steam machine an 8. And I'm like,
and the ROG X Ally a 9.
A 9. Right? And it's like
it's really a shock when IGN gave, what was it, Dragon Age Veilguard a 9, and then they gave what game did they give an 8 that was clearly a 10 out of 10? IGN are completely irrelevant, and you should not pay attention to a single thing they say.
DS,
they thought
you're right.
Dragon Age Veilguard was a 9. Take that in. They thought that game was a 9.
Yeah.
In no one's mind,
I'm going to be honest.
That game only did something because of the words Dragon Age. If you took that away from it, that would have colossally failed. Like that's
Don't forget the Crimson Desert review. Oh my days!
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
well, that's right.
They
gave it a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say something a bit controversial, but I also think, like, how do I say this without, like...
Geez, not you, Nib.
Keep in mind, I am, like, open to diversity, all right? Everyone knows who follows me. I like diversity in my games. It's never been something I shy away from.
Right.
However, I do find sometimes certain journalists, and you look at their, like, profile picture, and you can kind of tell in advance. I don't want to be judgmental here or bad, but they kind of overcompensate for the hate in certain directions, you know? And before even seeing the review, I'm like, I can see that person being quite lenient with this game. Let's just put it that way, right? But, you know, and, you know, sometimes that happens. And in the same way, with the particular, I think her name is Jacqueline, with the particular journalist who has reviewed that, she actually did both the Steam machine and the ROG X Ally. She reviewed both of them. I do think, like, she clearly has a PC bias, and her, along with Ryan McCaffrey and everything else, when this kind of Xbox started transitioning to PC, a lot of the editors did try and go into that thing where it's like, okay, PC is the thing that we want to, you know, push and prioritize, and they're clearly showing more lenience on that side of things versus the consoles. Like, you know, Switch 2, despite all the hardware improvement, and it is a superb piece of hardware, you know, $450, suddenly it's like, you know, it's tragic and it's too expensive and this and that. PS5 Pro, again, we're talking like huge amount of compute power and, you know, AI, hardware tech, ray tracing technology from RDNA 4, custom AI, other stuff, right? It's really innovative technology that has a lot of customizations, even has DDR system RAM so that they have more VRAM for games, all sorts of things, right? Again, it's too expensive. Like, at this price, we really have to reconsider. And then you have PC equipment at $1,000 and cheaper, reasonably priced at $1,000. And then Steam machine, where even though it's 1,400, 2 terabyte, it's still, you know, a good entry price into PC gaming. And I just think, come on, man.
Yeah, it's not just, but I do want to say it's not just IGN. I mean, it's across the board. I watched a lot of different reviews of Steam Machine, and it did seem glowing, and it was like I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, okay, but the numbers don't lie, right? And it's an expensive device, and it's not giving you the output that you would expect to see on a base PS5 or a Series X. And I mean, of course, we were talking about these conversations before the price increases of today, which we'll get into in a bit. But I just find it interesting. The same thing kind of happened to Microsoft back when the 2020. They were like, oh my God, this is going to be Microsoft's generation, right? How are you going to be able to beat them? They're going to come out with a $299 console. They're going to have a $499 console, and then they're going to have a $10 a month subscription. And I mean, every outlet was running with that. And now it's funny. At least give credit where credit's due. A few of them have come out and said, hey, we were wrong. We were wrong. That was not. We thought that it looked good on paper.
But that was the same with Game Pass. Game Pass is the future.
That's what I mean. $9.99. That's what I said. They were like $90.
They don't need exclusives. Game Pass is the exclusive.
That's
remember?
The exclusive. Yeah.
They all tweeted that.
These are big outlets, though. I'm talking about the big outlets. And I'm not talking about just IGN. Yeah. It's not just IGN. It was a lot of big outlets were doing this. And it was like, because if you're doing a channel and you're a favorite, or you're biased on one particular, which I think I've been saying this for how many years? 13 years. Everybody's biased. Everyone likes something, right? It's like whether you're McDonald's, Burger King, okay? You're like, people go, oh, well, I like McDonald's Big Mac, but I prefer, I should say it the other way around. People like McDonald's fries, but they prefer a Whopper. Like, it doesn't matter. You're biased towards almost everything. People buy Nike versus Reebok or Adidas. You know what I mean? There's always a favorite you have. It's okay to have a favorite in a brand. I get that. But like, these are the big outlets.
I'll say this, right? I think the true way you can gauge how something has actually been received by the masses is in user reception and adoption, right?
Yeah.
Because they can say the ROG Ally, 9 out of 10, and they can say Steam Machine 8 out of 10. What are the consumers going to say? Which of the consoles are actually selling? They give Switch 2 a 7 out of 10, and that shit becomes the highest selling console of all time. Clearly, there's a disconnect there, yeah? Clearly, you are not thinking in line with the masses here. And it shows. It just shows time and time again.
And the the actual performance at the end of the day, it didn't blow people away. The performance of the ROG Ally X, even, in comparison to the Steam Deck, it wasn't substantial enough. You look at the Win 5, the most powerful handheld on the market right now, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. It even had Digital Foundry shocked. How is this even possible? It's crazy, right? Now that seems like a generational leap. The Xbox ROG Ally X just seemed like it was late to the party, and it wasn't offering anything particularly outstanding, and yet it was hella expensive, crazy expensive, but what was really loud about that product wasn't the product itself. It was the marketing behind the product, telling everybody that this is an Xbox, and everybody had egg on their face afterwards. You had Ryan McCaffrey looking shocked, going, why doesn't it play my Xbox games? After all the marketing, it finally came out, and he acted surprised or shocked. You had people admitting that they were disappointed, that if they felt a little cheated and a little misled. And are you really that dumb? How could you have felt misled, or did you just not think about what you were saying, what you were parroting? And it's the same with the exclusivity thing. Games for Everyone is better than locking away content from people, and everybody's saying exclusives are bad, being exclusives are anti-consumer, completely disregarding the importance of having unique value propositions tied to any competitive product within an established market, and how that fuels innovation and prevents stagnation and prevents barely any. It basically makes everything just pure iteration rather than innovation. And you need that competition, right? Only now people are now saying, finally, we need exclusives. Exclusives are good, and all these people have done a full-on U-turn. You've had Paris Lily going through the 5 stages of grief.
Double flip-flop. They went from ABK, Bethesda, exclusives, you better buy an Xbox, ha ha ha, to exclusivity is bad, man. Like
Yeah.
when we all play, we all win, and now it's exclusives are great again. Like it's crazy, dude. Like
Mate,
I just find
when you actually look at how these are so self-proclaimed professionals within the established gaming industry sphere, and yet they're just corporate parrots. They're just, and even today, even the chameleons can't chameleon. They can't keep doing it. They can't justify it. The price hike with the Xbox, even Gazon Daily can't defend it, and he defends everything. You know, like it's mad. It's crazy to see how people are now reacting. Like I think finally the bubbles popped, and people are starting to realize that parroting corporate slogans and just repeating and regurgitating whatever a CEO says in a bid to appease shareholders isn't going to benefit you as a consumer. It's likely going to make things worse.
It's funny you bring up Gaz, right? Because he tried a gotcha with me earlier, where like, you know, I posted about the layoffs at Bungie, and he had a tweet from me talking about Bungie so far performing well in 2024. And he was like, oh, you didn't think that before? And I was like, well, yeah, because they just released Final Shape. Final Shape was rated 90 on Meta. I think it's 89 now. And it also had 314 peak players, which was 2K less than their all-time high. So obviously at that point, I'm not going to be all doom and gloom because the data doesn't support it. When they released the subsequent DLC, which kept grinding down in player numbers and in quality, I think the next one was rated 63 on Meta, and the one after that 71. And then obviously I've discussed Marathon on here multiple times, me and Dessinger versus, you know, Mooch, and I said I don't think the player numbers are sufficient. Again, you cannot just mindlessly, like a fanboy, just be critical of something when the data doesn't support it, and vice versa. I can't just be critical of Xbox when something does well, like Forza Horizon 6, right? And likewise, I can't just be critical of Bungie when they just put out Final Shape and it did really well. Obviously, the kind of them losing steam.
The retention wasn't great.
Yeah, the retention happened over time from 2025 to 2026. So you have to adjust based on factual data, not just fanboy whims. You know, and weirdly, I felt, even though he got a lot of likes, I'm like, this is kind of the Xbox fandom in a nutshell. You have a following who will immediately like this, but they just do not understand context and nuance. Any normal person would look at that and be like, you know what? Based on the data at the time, he was actually right. And then he adjusted his opinion when the data changed. But they're not going to be able to look that far ahead or that detailed.
Yeah, it's and like even just today, like Jez, he's been going through the 5 stages of grief this last couple of days. Bless his heart. Jez Gordon, he can't handle what's going on right now, and even he was saying
he called PlayStation liars.
The liars for saying it plays best on PS5, only for them to reinforce and triple down on the fact that he plays best on PS5 for the very freaking obvious reasons. I'm sorry, but when you have 2 forms of advanced compression tech to minimize file size working in tandem with a 3 times faster SSD, you're going to have remarkable benefits if the game is optimized for that specific hardware. This isn't rocket science, and so on top of the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers of the DualSense, like and not to mention the PS5 Pro variant, like how it's going to enhance the actual core visual fidelity and smoothness and performance of the game and graphical options and fidelity. Like it's a no-brainer that it plays best on PS5, and yet you're getting these people who are in high positions within the gaming sphere, you know, affronting themselves as professionals and just saying Sony's a liar, and it's just like it's madness to me. And even just today, what was it that Jez Corden came out with about freaking if PlayStation had said, oh, what was the article he wrote on Windows Central, Nib? Do you remember? If PlayStation had written, see it. I'll have to refresh my memory.
I've been just talking, and that's fine. While you're thinking about that, Willie, I've just been talking to the great David Faulkner in the DMs, and he's just sent me, as well as Eric, the producer, both sent me this information. When we get to the Bungie layoff, some interesting news is broke on that. So I can't wait. We'll get into that as we get to it. But you guys were kind of going and changing this into the GTA stuff.
I did want to just say one thing on the GTA thing. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I want to go into GTA, so go ahead.
Yeah, because, like, there's been a lot of conversation. I don't want to have egg on my face. I'm not saying it will have a 60 frames mode or it won't. I don't know, obviously. Like, we have to wait and see. But there were some interesting things through the marketing campaign on the blog. They said they were working with Sony Interactive, Entertainment. So presumably XDev was helping them. Because the thing is with I don't know if I said it before, but the Tempest audio, to implement that's a hardware block on PS5. It's not software 3D audio like Sonic on Windows, or even most implementations of Dolby Atmos on computers are software based, but they're a very rudimentary version of it. It's sort of like they combine sound sources and stuff to make it easier on the processor to handle. Whereas if you have a hardware based sound card, it's a bit more complex. But even Atmos, for example, I believe the cinema implementation, maybe someone can correct me from what I read on their site, has 128 unique sound sources. Most high-end Blu-ray versions are sub 40 sound sources. And I think gaming, it's 16, and headphones is less. Tempest allows for hundreds of unique sound sources. And actually, there's a few games, first party, that have implemented that, like Returnal, for example. On the PC, the equivalent kind of ray traced audio, you can actually lose quite a lot of frames. Whereas on PlayStation 5, the Tempest audio chip handles all of that. The CPU doesn't have to do anything. And the reason I bring that up is because if they have worked with XDev to implement this and implement other things, it does give more credence to the potential of potentially a 60 frames mode on PS5 Pro or whatever, or more optimization, because they are using hardware to free up the CPU. If the Tempest 3D audio chip is doing the audio and 3D audio space and everything, that means the CPU is not burdened with it. So the CPU has a greater allocation for other things. So that is a positive thing that was kind of drip fed into that blog, and now I am extra curious to see
that has really
how this thing.
That's been overlooked, Nib. That's a good point you bring up there.
It's also adds credence to the fact that them saying it plays best on PS5, including base PS5, likely over Series X, because as powerful as the Series X is, if you make use of that Tempest 3D audio block, again, like Nib said, you free up the CPU, whereas the Series X, isn't it 20% of the Series X's teraflop performance goes to audio alone? So it's a huge.
And this is the thing. I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and even Digital Foundry has discussed it, because a lot of people don't realize, but if you do tap into some of the decompression and other I/O customizations in the PS5, the whole point is that it frees up the CPU. And we do actually see examples of that. For example, in Baldur's Gate 3, in the city, which is really CPU intensive, right? It's one of the things the Steam machine does better than the consoles because of the CPU advantage. Well, in the city, the PS5 actually has quite a frame advantage over the Series X. Likewise, in Dragon's Dogma, in the city, again, CPU intensive, the PS5 has a frame advantage over the Series X. Now, why would the PS5, with a slower CPU than the Series X, have a frame advantage in CPU in tense situations? And it's because they can leverage the decompression, the audio, and all the other things to free up the CPU. So it's not about just the clock speed of the CPU, how much of the CPU is being utilized or used on other things that it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, factual. There's a lot about the PS5 that I think people haven't taken advantage of within the game development sphere. Like, there's a lot that if you actually go back to the pre-release development blogs of the PS5 and what it's capable of doing, from the cache scrubbers to the SSD being used as a source of RAM, to the Tempest 3D audio kind of independent block, hardware block for audio alone to free up the CPU. There's so much about that console that if you take full advantage of it on a hardware level, in the higher end of the development pipeline, you're going to Yeah, it's going to pay massive dividends.
But here's the thing. I'll play.
Been able to
let me play devil's advocate. Well, DS, hold on. I was gonna play devil's advocate. Just and DS, you might like this. I kind of like where you're both going, and I think it's technically sound at least to move forward with it. And we see it says plays best on PS5, but here we are. Pre-orders went live today, and I have as one of the topics. Rockstar and Take-Two think that 80 is the new 70. Here's the thing. When it comes down to it, why not mention what the Pro can do? Why not start talking about when you're asking people for their money? Why not start putting some specs out there? How about simple specs? We don't need to have anything as a deep dive as Digital Foundry does, right? Just simple. This is what you're going to get on the PS5. This is what you're going to get on the Xbox Series X. This is what you get on the Pro. Same way they do with cards when they show it on your PC recommended specs. Why not do that? Why just say
I'm going to be honest, I think they've done the right thing, honestly. I think from a marketing perspective, why alienate the mass market of your consumer base?
Okay.
Because it's only a tiny percentage of PS5 Pro owners relative to PS5, right? So for now, just satiate them, get the masses to pre-order and get the PS5, etc. for that. And then the enthusiasts, then you finally reveal gameplay, say 2 months prior to release or whatever, say it's PS5 Pro footage, then they do another blog about, then the enthusiasts can dive in and
exactly.
spend
There was a game trailer from, I can't remember the game now, but it's a game coming out soon. Developers, their entire showcase of the game was how it allows, it's fully designed for path tracing. And I'm like, you're just shooting yourselves in the foot here, because there was a scene where there was a glass window shooting beautiful visceral colors of the window, in the glass pane window, into the foyer, into this hallway. And when you turn path tracing off, that isn't there. It would not be difficult for them to bake that in, but they've chosen not to because they're building it around path tracing. Yeah, let's just advertise our game to the niche 0.5% of the gaming market who have powerful enough PCs to make use of this. And it's like you're shooting yourselves in the foot. At the end of the day, the first initial thing that they've pushed in the marketing pipeline is the mass market, is the PS5 owners. They will later, before release, showcase the PS5 Pro enhancements, no doubt. And those who have a PS5 and want to upgrade to a PS5 Pro because of the enhancements, they'll have double dipped. That's just like common sense. It's the waterfall effect. That's the most effective way to push for growth.
What's up, by the way, Wise? What's up, Wise? How you doing?
What's good, Wise?
What's up, Willie? I want to support what you just said. Okay, people on these social media streams, I don't care where they're I think they're fucking stupid or like in denial or what. Like common sense would tell you they invested all this money to make this game, all this time, all of these employees, everything. Now it's not coming out on PC, okay, day and day. So there's no argument here. So they're going to choose, and it's not coming out on the Switch 2. And every time I bring up the Switch 2, I laugh because I'm like, yeah, it's never going to come out on that thing unless it's coming out on cloud. But so the only bases that they got to sort of cater to or pander to are the PlayStation install base and the Xbox install base. Now, common sense, whether it runs better on the PlayStation 5 or not, it doesn't matter. It's a moot point. If you are a corporation and you're trying to maximize your profit on a game that's console only, who are you going to pander to? 100 million base or 30 million base?
Yeah.
Common sense.
No, absolutely. No, and that makes sense. I think what you said in conjunction with what Nib was saying, and I believe it was Wooly, that holds water. I get what you're saying. You're saying, wait, the masses right now, but even in the PS camp, right? Wise, there's out of the 100 million. You've probably got like 98 million that have a PS5 base. I mean, my numbers are off, I'm saying. But nonetheless, they want to make sure that their base audience knows that this is the best place to play, right? But again, now does it come down?
Also, the DualSense controller can do stuff that the Xbox controller cannot do. And they are utilizing all of the haptics of the DualSense. So if, say, the chips are equal parity when it comes to graphic output, just for the sole fact that the DualSense can give them a little bit extra titty feel when the titties are shaking, hey, that is something better that the PlayStation does that the Xbox can't. So, I mean, it's like, it's marketing 101. Like people are fucking stupid. Like what do you think they're gonna say? Like, no, it plays better on the 30 million console base. Like, huh?
I should have read. You're right. But again, some people are saying, well, that's fine, but the things that are going on with the audio and things that are going on with the controller doesn't mean a best place to play for certain players.
I'm pretty sure Sony went to them and said, here's how to work with our system firsthand.
Exactly, Wolf.
If the other console cannot reciprocate, then by default and by extension, it runs better. Say, for example,
they're putting quick resume and VRR for the Xbox as a perk. I'm sorry.
To play devil's advocate, though, to play devil's advocate.
You put the game down, and VRR, the PS5 has VRR. So what are we doing here?
The only thing I would say, though, to play devil's advocate is subjective at the end of the day. If maybe the Series X will have better performance or frame rate, who knows, right? I'm not saying it will. But to someone that might be more important and plays better than DualSense or whatever and Tempest Audio. Obviously, me, like, those things are extremely valuable to me. And I will say, I've said this before, right? I remember playing, like, Control. I've played Control, the regular version, and then I played Control, the Ultimate, like, the one that was adapted or whatever, next gen. And I honestly think the DualSense implementation, because it was so good, like from the raindrops, the footstops, the way the triggers, like halfway through presses, their transformations, like you can feel the resistance and everything. To me, that made the game way more immersive. And actually, if I was a critic and I really thought like, okay, this experience versus that experience with all these, haptics and all the rest of it, I would actually rate that one slightly higher because it fundamentally made an improvement to my gaming experience. So to me, those things matter. But again, obviously, it depends on whether you're talking about frame rates or whatever else as well.
Yeah,
you're splitting hairs here, okay? You're splitting hairs. The chips in both of those consoles are within parity of one another, okay? So you're talking about a minimal difference in run from one console to the other, whichever is better. It doesn't. You can sit there and split hairs. But even if
the Pro exists, so it nullifies the question anyway.
Yeah, but that's why I have a point. I'm a businessman. If I'm going to come out and advertise this game, I'm not, even if it runs crappy on the PS5, guess what the hell I'm going to say? It runs best on PlayStation 5 because there's more people.
But they have to have something behind it. You do have to have something, though, Wise, as a business person that you're saying you cannot just put propaganda. Yeah, you can't put propaganda out there that's false, right?
Okay, say for example, it runs 5 frames less, but they got haptics in the.
Have they ever advertised this before with a third-party game?
No,
I don't think so.
I haven't seen it on the PS5.
I don't think so, Wolf.
But guys, we're forgetting. I can play the game quicker again after I've put it down for a while because of quick resume.
Yeah,
ain't that a win? Right? Ain't that a reason to buy it?
I'll never understand.
On my 800 quid Xbox.
The fundamental problem with GTA is like Rockstar. They've been really cloak and dagger with this. Like they need to come out and show, for one, actually give real performance benchmarks to see what you're going to get, right? Actually talk about your fucking game, because all you've given people is 2 trailers with some cutscenes and bare minimum gameplay, and then you're like, oh, everyone buy our game. And it's like, okay, so what am I actually going to do in your game, right? Show me the actual game. Nah, they ain't showing you shit. They're like, oh, you don't need to worry. It's just going to be a GTA game. And it's like, well, how about you come out and actually go...
No, but they do that. They've done that the last 2 games, dude. They're following exactly the same rollout.
I know they are following it, but like, they need to...
If you want gameplay, you have to wait 2 months.
But you know what, Nib, let me be fair. Nib, as they say all the time, let's be fair, though. When you're talking about their last game came out, what was it, 2012 or 2013? Like, so
you know what baffles me the most?
I don't agree, but then look
at but hear me out. But you have everything under a microscope these days, Nib. So what I'm saying to you is now is a little bit different than to follow suit from their last game. You know what I mean?
Come on, Mooch. Something isn't right here.
What do you think?
Out of all times to announce a price hike, you would do it just after the marketing for GTA 6 has rolled out. Like you would do it during the peak hype of GTA 6. You would announce the price hike of your console. Like, what are they thinking over there?
They announced.
I am not, bro. They have fumbled
dude,
this.
They did interviews so about how badly Xbox was doing 2 days after their showcase. I actually don't know what's going on.
Madness, bro.
They don't want fans to be hyped and happy.
But
and even Weird.
What the fuck is going on? The most important time for them to get gamers into their ecosystem, or when it's because GTA 6 is a cultural event. You have entire businesses closing down for the day for the launch of GTA 6. It is a cultural event. That is not an overstatement by any shape of the word. It is now. It's like freak. It's bigger than. It's way bigger than Mardi Gras. It's bigger than freaking anything. It's a huge cultural event, and Microsoft literally are basically saying don't look to us to experience GTA. Don't do it, guys. We don't want you to experience GTA on our console. They might as well be doing that. They are advertising PS5. What's it Gazon Daily said today? It's the first thing I've seen from him that actually made sense. That was actually a sensible tweet. He said Xbox are doing better advertising for owning a PS5 than Sony.
I'd say sometimes PlayStation, by doing nothing, they benefit, because you got Steam Machine. Somehow it made the PS5 Pro look better. It's like just everyone's like, oh,
yeah,
a bit expensive, you know, like $800, $900, and then Steam Machine comes out with $1,400 for the 2 terabyte. Suddenly the PS5 Pro is looking real good now, you know.
Yeah, you're right. It boosted Sony up, and Sony did literally nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, they do nothing. Even earlier, I was watching, you know, the new Spider-Man movie, the No Way Home, or no, what's it called? I forgot. The new one, right? And then Zendaya and Tom Holland are doing interviews for the movie, and they spend like 5 minutes talking about the Spider-Man games.
Yes,
and how much they love them. Yep. And Zendaya, you know, was struggling on one of the bosses on Spider-Man 2 on Scream. And I'm just like, this PlayStation, they just sit on their ass and they get free marketing, man. I swear.
It is wild. Crazy. It is wild. And it's funny, a lot of I don't know how much you guys watch Apple shows, but with a lot of Sony Pictures are involved with the Apple shows. And if you look in the background of a lot of these different Apple series that are on, they have PS5s and they have PlayStation equipment all around. I mean, you have to look for it, but it's crazy. Sometimes it's just sitting there on the table. It's pretty interesting how they kind of plug that in. People pay attention to that. I got some super chats here, and then I want to welcome the Gaming Ledger to the show. Ledger, great to have you here as well. Shout out to Babor. He says, and this was something I really wanted to bring up Babor when we were talking about the last subject, because like I said, it wasn't just IGN when we were talking about the Steam Machine. It really was. So Babor says, Digital Foundry lost my respect over Steam Machine. Digital Foundry really kind of did. I feel like kind of, and I don't have it like verbatim, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but it did seem like they kind of glossed over a lot of the big issues. Babor says, I think PlayStation being industry leader for 30 years, they cannot wait for them to fail. This is when we were talking about like the media and such. He says it's biased, unprofessional. Steam fanboys, at least Singer is a pro. You know, Babor, can you please? Babor is out there doing his homework. Shout out to Gabriel for subscribing. I appreciate that. Babor's back. He goes, electrical fire if Saros gets poured into the Steam Machine. That may be a truth. D goes, there's the wise man. D, thank you very much. Highlander says Sony should lower their price, do the complete opposite of Xbox. Remember, there are 74 million on last-gen hardware. Here's the thing, though, Highlander. When you say that, I get all these flashbacks from all the Xbox guys going, once Asha came on, they're like, now's the time to attack. Lower the price. And what did they do? They raised the price. So I think, Highlander, in this particular case, Sony's not in the position right now to lower the price. I would just say hold the price.
I think they might increase the price, dude.
Well, there's a possibility on all fronts. I'm just saying, if you want to talk about,
like, even the MacBook Pro I bought like 2 months ago, I checked today and that went up by £800. I was like, what the fuck?
Wolf, you were covering that.
Held out as long as they could.
Apple jacked up their prices, and the thing is, Xbox jacked them up, and it's like Nintendo and PlayStation are coming too, because at the end of the day, the places like Micron and whatnot, all these people, they have a stranglehold because they are the main manufacturers of the RAM, right? They control the whole.
Not necessarily. SK Hynix and Samsung are also.
Yeah, I don't think PlayStation does use Micron. It uses SK Hynix, I think. Yeah.
They do use some. Yeah. I think that.
Well, they go to all. It's a combination, because bear in mind, there's only 3 big manufacturers now, because one of them closed down. So it's like.
Well,
there is very few.
There's a lot of minor ones, but yeah,
that is why I'm hoping China, as much as I hope they flood the market with their RAM, like I hope they go really, really low with it and just flood the market and force these companies to maybe back down a little bit. It might not be the best RAM in the world, but at least it'll be a hell of a...
mate, I agree. We need China to save the day like they are on EVs.
I need China to just flood the market. Just flood it with
SSD. Seriously.
Flood it with RAM. Yep. Just go ham.
I mean, even with Tesla, right? Like EVs were starting to get ridiculous. Chinese EVs flood the market, and Tesla starts cutting prices heavily. I remember my mate bought the Model 3 Performance, and literally a few months later, they dropped the price by $5,000. I was like, ouch. That's a fucking blow.
Shout out real quick to no, go ahead, Wise.
See, I got a question. You said earlier in passing, and you said that they should release like how the game runs, the specs for the game, blah blah blah. Why?
Yeah.
What is that going to achieve for them right now?
Just so you have your
don't put DevSinger in charge of your marketing ever.
No. But like just to explain to everyone what you're getting, right? Because otherwise people are like, okay, so you're saying, what is it? Am I expecting a 4K? Am I expecting a 60? What am I expecting, right? Everyone
most of the people who are buying this game do not care.
Yeah, but Rockstar are saying, doesn't matter what we give you, you're going to want this.
Yeah.
The average consumer is probably buying a PS5 for the first time also. And they're like, oh, I held out long enough. Now I have to get one because of this.
My son is getting one. My son is a PC player, and he said, "Dad, I got to get GTA 6. I need a PlayStation 5 Pro." I'm just 5 days ago, and this kid already had a PlayStation 5 when it first came out, and he sold it. Freaking moron, but that's a different story. Anyhow,
also to be fair, that's just for me. I want to see what it is being, a bit more hardcore. The general masses, of course, won't care. They'll take whatever Rockstar could give them Rockstar could say, oh, by the way, you will have physical. Oh, just joking. It's a code in the case. We did promise physical.
If it was coming out for PC, then you could make an argument for that, right? But it's only coming out for 2 consoles, or 2.5 or 3 consoles, if you want to call PlayStation 5 Pro and Pro. So
technically 4 consoles, but go on.
Well, 3, yeah, but like it runs on both or all 3. Why do that? Like, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, and at the end of the day, this game has a lot of carte blanche that other games before this do not have. It's GTA. Everyone knows. People who don't even know what GTA is know of this game. So sometimes you could be guilty of saying too much, So sometimes it's better in marketing to hold your cards close. So that's what I was just saying. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. If it was coming out for PC, I can understand your argument, but this one is just seems like a moot point.
So we're going to get to a few different topics when it comes to GTA. I'm glad we went down this road, but shout out to Bespoke. He says it's good to note that PlayStation isn't claiming that performance is best on PS5, which it likely will be anyways. They are saying the experience is better. Controller, audio, loading, immersive enhancements. But it's funny, but that adds to a little bit of the console wars right there. You know what I mean? Is that like, okay, for some people that does mean something. For me, shout out to Worry Wart. Me and Worry were talking about a bunch of games earlier in this generation. What was the one? What was it? Something Protocol.
God,
I beat it. Callisto. I don't remember. Callisto Protocol. And great game, by the way. And, we were going back and forth, and he writes me and he goes, hey, do you know if there's any DualSense improvements or enhancements in that case? Because he goes, honestly, I've really enjoyed the controller. It has made my immersion into the game that much better. And he looked it up before I even got a chance to, and he goes, hey, just so you know, there are some. I think I'm going to pick it up on PS5. So, it was interesting to see that people will make a conscious business or purchase decision when you do get those things. So, Bespoke, I hear you. That was what Nib was saying earlier. So, I do agree with that. The OA says Rockstar won't gain much by focusing on PS5 now. They know not a lot of people will buy an Xbox to play it, so go for both now. Let the first wave hit, and later have Sony do the marketing based on hardware and performance. I think the panel was kind of riding with you on that as well, OA. So I do agree there. Our Shadow says now it's $1,000 to get 2 terabytes on Xbox Series X after August. Well, the 2 terabyte one, Shadow, is gone.
Sunsetted. Yeah.
That one is sunsetted. They're getting rid of that one. Shout out to Wooly, thank you. He says just buy a PS5. You know, it's funny you say that. I say let's never talk about a small census, but Wise, you brought something up with your son. My kid's friend, he's a PC gamer, my son's friend, and he goes, hey, I'm picking up, you gonna pick up GTA, and he's like, yeah. He goes, where are you gonna play it? And his buddy goes, oh, on my PC. And he's like, well, it's not on PC. It's, the first right now, anyways. It will be eventually, but he's like, it's not right now. And it was funny because the kid was like, well, then, I'll pick it up. I guess I'm going to have to ask my parents for a PS5. And it was like, he's like, I'm not going to wait. But he's a PC gamer. And this is the youth. So I thought it was interesting that you said that about your son, Wise. And then I'm hearing the small census in our little world of like, oh, I guess I'm going to go and buy a console for this. This is something that came out earlier today. If not, it was late last night. And it was that both of them, I think Xbox and PlayStation, are concerned they may not have enough consoles to provide people that want to buy this around the holiday. You guys think that that's a problem, or is this something made up?
So that, by the way, thanks for having me.
Go ahead, Ledger. Great to have you, buddy. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So that I was listening to that Chris Grin podcast interview, right, where he was talking to that gentleman about, and then he brought up that consoles. He didn't say specifically which consoles, right? That includes the Switch, the PS5. We know Xbox is going to have issues with their inventory. So I don't know. I just think if any company is going to be waiting for this with the marketing deal and everything, it might be PlayStation. They generally speaking have good plans, solid plans. Obviously, this whole RAM shortage is an issue for them as well, but I would think that they would be the best ones, if any of the three.
Okay. All right, yeah. So wait, Ledger, and I apologize because I was typing something at the same time you were speaking. Ledger, are you saying that Sony would have the most problems with supply?
No. I think they would have the best out of the three.
Oh, the best of the three. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I think they would be more planned and prepared, right? And they have the marketing rights for GTA. So, like, if you're planning to spend that much money on the marketing rights, then you're gonna have, you're gonna earmark some consoles. I know it's
too early, Ledger, to really talk this way, but again, the pre-orders are up today. We didn't see any kind of box art for a PlayStation 5 bundle. Like, there has to be they're doing some sort of calculation, which I'm sure they're doing on the high side. You just said they're going to be better off and prepared. But, like, what kind of numbers are they crunching, Ledger, to actually know what they need for this holiday?
Oh, so I'm presuming that when they did the planning, it was a couple of years out, maybe definitely more than a year out, right? Because they don't plan. So, I mean, obviously with what's going on with the RAM situation, I don't know that, to be honest with you, Mooch. I just think that if you're going to pay that much for marketing rights, you're going to make sure that you have enough, at least for what you think will reach demand by that point. And maybe that's why they're raising the prices now. Like, I do know that everybody's under pressure with the RAM shortage, but like, you can still go online and see some PlayStations on sale, right?
Yes,
like, I saw some for $499.
I saw
$549. And then now they're reaching out to Amazon, right? Like, so like if you use a Prime credit card, I think it's $150 off. Like, so they're trying creative ways, I think. We'll find out more closer to, like, I would say September, October.
I honestly think no one does marketing like Rockstar, because think about it, right? The fever around this. They have over 100 million views on just the pre-order thing, right? And I always say the best kind of marketing is that when there's always something to keep you in the mind share and in the lexicon of sort of journalism and stuff, right? So they're already like sort of slow staggering this out, and we haven't even seen gameplay, and that right there is the marketing ploy. We haven't even seen gameplay. So all this excitement and all this buzz and all this theorizing and all this, what is this going to look like? What is this going to run like? And when they finally do start getting closer to the day and dropping the gameplay and all the rest of it, they essentially have like that second wind of coverage, of interest, of, dominating the news headlines and all the social media and everything. And I think they're kind of playing it smart. And the thing is, lucky for them, they can get away with that kind of marketing, because not everyone can curry that reputation and favor where without even seeing gameplay, people are still on board. And to their credit, they have earned that. Just look at the basically every Grand Theft Auto game. Look at the reception. Look at every Red Dead game. Like they like Naughty Dog. They have a reputation that it really does exceed anything. So
and can we just appreciate it's the same price as Saros? Let that sink in. Like, I'm not digging Saros, but a 20-hour game, a bullet hell shooter that I think we can all unanimously agree it's overpriced for what it is. It's a 50 quid game, that game, but it's a great game, but it's a it's a one-trick pony, right? And it's like GTA is coming out at 70 quid base game, for 70 quid here in the UK, 90 quid for the Ultimate Edition. Like, it's not extortionate. They could have been ridiculous with that.
I did want to touch on this actually. I'm glad you brought it up. I have a feeling the pricing of GTA might actually be connected to DXY and the US dollar and countries that use US dollar, as opposed to just charging more. Because the countries that have, outside of Brazil, because the countries that have been affected, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, United States, but then you look at all the Asian territories, Japan, all across Europe, the price is actually the same as all other games over there.
Now, are they going to charge for GTA Online? Are they going to charge another $40-$50?
That's what
I think that's going to be sold separately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the role playing thing that they bought, I think they're going to put that as part of GTA Plus.
We were discussing this in the Discord. Shout out to Blaze, Red Hood and whatnot. We were actually talking about this. We came to the conclusion that what you're gonna do, you're gonna drop GTA Online for $30, right? But then you're gonna mandate that you need the GTA Plus subscription, right? And then what they're gonna do is they'll make you buy the thing, and then they'll make you buy the subscription, and then they'll sell you the battle passes, the expansions, the whatnot in the game, and they'll keep you locked in. And they'll just keep, because they'll make all the money, because people are gonna pay it as soon as you tell them.
I don't know, man. That's kind of pushing it.
No, Rockstar can easily get away with that. Look at the way people are acting, and it's just a fucking pre-order. Bear in mind, they also promised ages ago, yes, we will have physical day one. Don't worry, we will have physical for you. I don't think this is what people expected when they promised physical.
Well, there's reports saying that's going to come out in December. We'll see.
Yes, December is the physical report.
And the best part is that they'll make you buy the digital, and then they'll make you buy the physical.
Oh yeah, they're master at getting people to double dip in it.
Oh yeah,
every way.
Listen, they have made us since the PS3 generation triple dip on this game, so
yeah, exactly.
People will pay for it.
I mean,
including myself.
People will pay, and that's the crazy thing about it is because Rockstar know they could get away with it, so they're going to push the envelope. And it's like when they said, "Oh, it's going to be a code in the box," it's smart because that limits leaks because no one can get the game early and leak it. But then it stops resale value, right? Because once you buy GTA, you can't trade it or give it to anyone else because all you got is an empty box.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically
that's right.
worthless.
This was actually a point of.
But if they do physical, it's coming on 2 discs. There's no way it's going on 1 disc.
I was saying the same thing. Like I was saying to Leviathan Gamer, shout out to him, that I do think that if GTA do go digital only, although now there's rumors that they are releasing a physical version, but if it is digital only and you can't trade, it's going to be a catalyst for a lot of other game developers to jump on the bandwagon, even though they don't need to. Because what it's going to do is almost every person who owns a console is going to own GTA 6. And if every person basically enrolls onto that...
Yeah. I don't want to be bad.
It's an invitation for other devs to follow suit. It's basically GTA does it, we can do it now. And... It's gonna be a slingshot, mate.
The thing is, they're not first to do it. Xbox has been doing it with multiple already.
They're the small guy. They're the small guy, Nib. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not the.
But that's why I think with this whole $80 discussion, right? Nintendo was the first to do it, and I know Nintendo fans hate me bringing this up, and because I made a tweet where I was like, look, if you didn't complain about Nintendo charging $80, you shouldn't be complaining about Grand Theft Auto charging $80, right? This is a $1.5 to $2 billion production game, and I get it, they're going to make money, but that is not how costs are decided. So whether, indie games, AA games, etc., generally what dictates the price is production cost, right?
Is that really the production cost?
Yeah, generally, like what is AAA? Marketing and cost, right? That's basically what it means.
Yeah, but is that the GTA cost, 1.5 to 2? That's quite high.
Oh, the estimated cost is 1.5 billion.
Yeah,
but they're
definitely going to milk us. They're going to milk us.
Yeah, but I think but the latest report is that it could be over 2 billion. But I was going to say, but the thing is, I get it. Like people say, I had people say cartridge costs. But even Mario Kart World is $80 digital. So even without the cartridge cost, they charge $80. And in addition to that, like when people say like, oh, Nintendo could charge more because these cartridges cost them, $8 to $10 or whatever, or I think it could be less in some instances, depends on the cartridge size. But then if you think about it, all third-party publishers, they pay significantly more, or they lose significantly more than all first-party, because on digital, they're losing up to 30% in the storefront straight away, right? 30% of their margin is gone. First party don't lose that 30% in digital. They get the entire 100%. In addition to that, they lose a 50% licensing fee to the platforms, even on physical, right? So not only do they lose the margin to the retailer, the actual physical store, or whatever who buys the unit, they also have to pay a licensing fee to PlayStation and Xbox or Nintendo or whatever, right? So in both ways, they're getting screwed, like in a way. They're paying a much higher, far more cost than just a cartridge. So GTA 6, again, I'm not justifying an $80. I'm just saying, if you're okay with Nintendo charging $80 for games that cost 25 to 50 million or over cartridge costs, why aren't you okay with GTA charging $80 when it costs 1.5
I'm glad you bring that up.
2 billion?
Nib, I'm glad you bring that up, because that differential right there, and welcome Blaze 4K to the show. Blaze, I'm going to go to you real quick here, because Nib, you brought up a good point, and Wooly, you kind of ruined it. I had a great segue into the pricing, and then you were like, oh, I'm okay with the pricing. But the thing about it is, Blaze, real quick, Nib says, wait a minute, we were all okay with the $80, and he doesn't mean us on the panel. He's just saying generality.
There was a lot of complaints.
Right.
But generally the market has accepted it, right?
They have accepted it in that one sense. You're right. I mean, is Mario Kart World still charting month after month?
I don't know, but Fire Emblem, whatever, if I forgot the name, that the physical version of that is also $80.
Okay. But I don't know. I still think, even though 80's been done, Blaze, my question for you is, 80's been done before, Blaze, but should it continue to be done? Or is this the only one that can get away with it where there's glorious applause?
Yeah, no one else is getting away with it but Rockstar, honestly. They can try. Maybe. They can try. We're going to send that shit back. And then really, Nintendo's really pushed the $80 thing. That's, But I don't think any other game can get away with it. If other games and developers start to follow suit, they're going to get a lot of pushback. You're not GTA. And I heard someone say that Saros is a 20-hour game and it was overpriced. But at the same, we can't value a game off its time, right? Because Grand Theft Auto.
That's my own personal. Like,
no. I hear you, Willie. But like Grand Theft Auto is a 30-hour game. You know what I mean? If you look traditionally, GTA, if you're just doing the main story, they're a 30-hour game, 27-hour game. So, that's like calling Crimson Desert a 30-hour game. It's just not true, is it? It's just not true, bro. No, brother, I hear you. I get what point you're trying to make, bro. But let's be honest here. A largely linear with slight variations per run, bullet hell shooter. I am not against that game. I think Returnal was fantastic, but I loved Returnal to bits. But I had no desire to buy Saros primarily because of the price point.
But Willie, we know how much Saros costs, $76 million. So are you saying $76 million isn't enough to justify a AAA price, $70?
I don't think he's saying that.
It is. No, I think no, not at all. I don't think it's the price. I think it's the style of game and the scope of the game, in all honesty. Like it's a game that for me, if it was priced £50, I would have bought it.
I'll go this far, and I think we don't say this enough, Willie.
Because of the scope and
I don't agree.
And nature of the game.
I don't agree with you, Willie. I don't mind the price that was there, but I do see where he's coming from. I understand his point. There's games out there that sometimes we've played games and we've said, hey, this was a really good game and I got a good 20 hours out of it. And I'm actually more excited at the fact that it was $50, right? So we've said that with other games.
Let me say this.
The standard version is 70 quid. The standard version is 70 quid UK here. Like, it's
80 over here, which is
that's more than Crimson Desert.
I don't get to say that. I don't get to say this. I don't get to say this very often, Wooly. So what is the quid to US dollar translation? If it's 70 quid, what is it over here?
So 60 quid UK is about 80 quid US. But
okay. All right.
But
but that includes 20% VAT.
That's what I was going to say. That includes 20% VAT. So
okay.
So it balances out to where games are roughly 10 quid cheaper here in our currency to the US.
But speaking of Saros, brother, I beat that game maybe, I don't know, 11 times. Like the replay value. So yeah, it's a shorter. Shorter game, but you're gonna run through that game multiple times.
That's fair, mate. I mean, that's a fair point. I guess for me personally, I just don't have the attention to span to replay a game over and over and over.
That's the thing I find with like that and Hades and stuff, is because of the modifiers and because there is a level of procedural. Actually, I don't even know if it's procedural, but the environments change, don't they? Like as you play through them, like not everything is always the same.
That's right.
And because of that, like even when I beat the game, I was still playing it over and over.
It's the replayability scale, absolutely. Yeah, I do.
And I actually thought the production value was incredible. The art direction was.
But what I thought was, I love that we're running parallel with Saros. But the only reason I want to bring it back to GTA was I found it funny. I was watching the clock. We got on the GTA subject sometime around 7:45 here Eastern time, okay, in New York. And it took till about 10 minutes ago. We were talking about every aspect of the power, the way that the marketing's going. Nobody brought up the price. Generally, price is one of the first things, and everybody has taken that $80. And let's be honest, I've got the poll right here. This is a very small census. I had about 500 people respond to the poll I did on X. Majority of people are buying. We're talking $80. Like they're buying the $100 one, Blaze. This is crazy.
I actually have more of an issue with
I'm buying it too, Wolf.
The game
brother,
is $100.
95% of people are buying the $100 version, bro. It is what it is.
In actuality, costs $100. They're giving
so many people already jumped out the window before the price reveal and said, if this game is $100, I'm buying it.
Right.
I do think at the end of the day, the market speaks, and the market speaks the loudest, bro.
You know, I said this.
Why I hate to bring it up again. I hate to bring it up again, right? But there's a reason why Saros isn't selling so well. When you have skill up telling everybody, if you own a PlayStation, you have to play this game. This game is a masterpiece. It's the best game that PlayStation have put out this gen. That's what he said about Saros, and everybody just went, yeah, no, I'll pass.
Well, it could just be the game itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a bullet hell, roguelite.
I don't think for everybody. That game's not for everybody.
It's not. It's not for everybody.
That's my point. Like at the end of the day, the market speaks, and when you see a game that's like I mean, some people in the chat have been corrupted by my boy Reforge Gaming, and they're hating on Crimson Desert, and it's painful to see because Crimson Desert to me is an absolute freaking masterpiece. It's insane.
It's repetitive, bro. I do like it, but it's got that Ubisoft thing.
You're the one who'll play. Don't you talk about repetitive when you'll play Saros 30 fucking times through?
Yeah, because the gameplay loop. Are you telling me the gameplay loop in Crimson Desert mechanically is anywhere near Saros's level?
and you'll play God of War Ragnarok 30 New Game plus.
Bro, are you comparing God of War Ragnarok gameplay with Crimson Desert? Come on now, dude.
There is no. I'm not comparing the two. Hey, what's this about you lacking nuance tonight, Nib?
No, I'm saying the reason you play games like that.
Being extremely obscure right now, bro. Like,
yeah, but the reason is. The reason is because
my point is your desire to replay games.
All right, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole of replaying games for 45 minutes.
What I'm saying, Willie, is because of the mechanical nature of the gameplay is quite cumbersome and a bit like clumsy, isn't it? In Crimson Desert. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it.
Redemption, yeah, it's like Red Dead Redemption.
But unlike Red Dead Redemption, it doesn't have literally best in class acting, story, immersion and writing and all of that stuff, right? So it's not quite the same.
On Crimson Desert,
but it has the gameplay though. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think.
Does Crimson Desert.
Blaze,
He doesn't have the gameplay like that. No way.
That's like saying Red Dead Redemption doesn't have the gameplay.
Like, what are we doing?
No.
But Red Dead doesn't have as competent gameplay.
They're doing a difference on
by all the other things.
Well, Blaze. Hold on. Wait. So Blaze, but your question's valid, Blaze. That's not what they're arguing about. They're talking about just the replayability. Wooly, before the show or early in the show, had said he's going to go back and replay a Crimson Desert. Now you've got how many 300 400 hours into Crimson Desert. Is it, when you finish that game, Blaze, you're going to go back and play it 2 or 3 times. I think that's the conversation here. Nib saying the replayability in a Saros is a much easier want than a replay of a Crimson Desert. That's what I think the conversation is.
Because of the gameplay loop.
Yes.
No, Crimson
it's like Hades as well.
But I wanted to get through it.
Right, you wanted to get that. That's what I say. When I talked to you, you were saying to me, listen, Mooch, this is a game that you should really try, but you're not going to spend the rest of your year playing it. So it's
especially if you're covering other games and you're streaming, you can't sit there all day. You got a job, you got kids. There's no way you can sit there all day. And I love Crimson Desert. It's an excellent game. One of the best games that's come out.
It's very different type of game though. Whereas Crimson Desert, you can explore it for 5. It's not you don't replay the game twice. It just takes you 700 years to explore everything.
Exactly.
Do you guys realize you can fight a 300-foot tall super mech in Crimson Desert?
Yes.
And you climb on its back. You climb on its back like Shadow of Colossus.
It's the thing.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that, Nib?
Yeah, and dragons and everything else. It's like everything in the kitchen
dragons.
sink.
But are you aware that you can literally climb up a 400-foot
I have seen clips, yes, on social media.
You've seen clips, but you've not played that bit.
I have not done.
Right, okay.
I actually got bored and stopped playing it. I'll get back to it.
Don't talk to me about it lacking gameplay, bro.
Back to what I was saying.
No, when I say lacking gameplay, I mean like the combat itself is not mechanically as precise and in depth as the other games you're comparing to.
Of course not, because that's all Saros is a combat game, and I get that, right? Exactly. It's a hyper focused. But
what I mean is say like Witcher, right? Witcher also, I think, has pretty clumsy combat and gameplay. I don't think it's great.
Combat is shit. Witcher's combat is shit, bro.
But the actual story and the side content and phenomenal, right? So that kind of carries it. But what I'm saying is, for me personally, Crimson Desert, it didn't have that competent level of writing story that the rest of it.
Nib, I think
get some order in here.
I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying here. It's to 8 people in the room, and I got the chat. Listen,
let's just move on.
You guys, I was just gonna say, you guys meet up in Liverpool and have a discussion over a pint. We can't.
Bro, y'all gotta let each other talk. Like one at a time. You guys talk over each other. I'm over here like, holy fuck.
I'm used to it. I've been now podcasting with the guys from England, and these guys can talk. I'll tell you right now, Blaze. These guys can talk.
People think we've never fallen out. We've not at all.
No.
We just
but listen, I want to.
We like WhatsApp each other.
I want to move on to something else. That the chat is getting restless as well.
Before you move, I wanted to finish my point.
Please do.
Everyone. Crimson Desert is the new Skyrim. That's essentially what.
That's not moving on. That's the same topic.
Something to move on.
I was finishing my.
How the hell is that moving on?
Like what?
I do love. No, listen. By the way, DS, I love your point. You're like, can we please move on? Let me just finish my point. Let's get back to Crimson Desert.
Well, what? Yeah, because my point was cut off.
Oh, okay. Well, geez, I gotta be honest with you, DS. They were going so long, I forgot you were talking, and I forgot what day it was. Hold on a second. Let me get back to. I got a couple of super chats here. Shout out to the great Glinter. He says here, what percentage of GTA 6 sales PS5 versus Xbox? So real quick, I do want to ask you guys this. Like, prices doesn't seem to be an issue. We talked about that. They're going to get away with that. I saw something, and I was talking, I think, to Wooly before the show started, and we were discussing, there was something out there that was a trust me, bro. So it's not an actual number. But they're saying, there's people out there that are quoting that 38 or 39 million pre-orders have already happened.
No, that's fake.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah,
right?
that user, just block him, man. He just makes shit up.
That's fine. So let me ask you guys, though. How many do you think actually in the first 24 hours, you got 100 million PS5s, 30-some-odd million Xbox. How many do you think, because it's not last gen, it's only this gen, how many do you think pre-ordered it today? throwing.
80-20.
Well, no, I didn't mean. I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean that. I meant like what number? What number
million.
total?
Oh, okay.
I reckon 5 million, 5-6 million.
You think 5 or 6 right now?
Which let that sink in. Capcom's combined total of Resident Evil copies sold up until Resident Evil 4 remake was like 5 or 6 million. So I mean that's a lot. You know, a lot.
Why are we bringing Cap God into this?
No. Come on, bro. Nuance. I'm just explaining that to put that into context. Like an entire franchise of a very well-renowned. Oh yeah, cool. Of a very well-renowned franchise has only in its lifetime sales made like 6 or 7 million up until Resident Evil 4 remake. So like that's a lot, but not everybody's in the habit of pre-ordering, bro. The vast majority of gamers will see trailers and go, "Yo, I'm getting that on release." And
well,
that's what
I can tell you right now, a lot of people who are like buying this for other people and they see it on Amazon, they don't know that a disc is not coming in that box. And when you pre-order on Amazon, you don't need to pay for it right now.
It's sold out temporarily on Amazon.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's odd.
I think 15 million was easy.
You think 15? All right.
Yeah, I want to say more than 10.
Paul, I want to say 20.
How do they sell out on Amazon? Do they run out of plastic? Like what? Or do they?
I mean, there's only so many cases that they're going to make.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
now
GTA 5.
It's back in stock now, though. They must have had another allocation.
Yeah. So GTA 5 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Total pre-orders before launch were 7 million. That was what 2011, 2012?
2012, I thought, yeah.
Yeah. So this game is more anticipated than that one because they were actually on a decent cadence back then. It's been 13 years, so I think I'll go with Blaze somewhere between 10 to 15 million.
You think already now, but that stat you gave us was the pre-order total right prior to launch. Launch isn't until November.
Yes.
So Blaze said 15 million today.
Oh, I'll go with 10. I'll go because it's I think this one has more demand than.
It's also 5. Not a necessity. No one needs to go run out and pre-order.
You
now.
don't.
You can wait.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys. All right, let me ask everybody on the panel. Who on the panel pre-ordered? I did not yet, but
I certainly
I have pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition. Yeah.
I have 300. I have 300 mates on PlayStation, and only 15 have pre-ordered it. So
I pre-ordered it because I was worried that the price would go up. In Canada, it's already $150.
I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I'm not going to wait much longer. I just didn't get to it today, but I'm going to.
Shocked if it goes up.
Yeah, it could probably go up.
But
the thing is
about the price. That I want to say something about the price before we move on to the topic of price. The fact that it came out at $80 was surprising to me. The fact that they did not make it all just $100 flat across the board is amazing to me, because I thought this game was going to come out at $100. And to be honest with you, I think this game is $100. It is they gave you a gimped version for $80 because there's a certain content that you cannot access if you get the $80 version. So this game in earnest costs $100.
And at any given time, you can upgrade.
Well, see that, and that's the thing. I mean, it's like I'm surprised that I think Take-Two was being generous to offer $80. It's like going and buying a Ferrari, right? When you go to buy a Ferrari, you know you're not going to be paying $80,000. You're going to be coming upwards of 6 figures, you know?
I want the carbon fiber body kit and I want the, this, and I want the bucket seats and the sports seats. Like, obviously, they're going to charge me up the ass for that, but that's how it is. You never buy just a basic Porsche or a basic Ferrari. At least not many people do. And it even affects the resale and stuff. But I was going to say to that point, someone said in the comments, like, you are part of the problem. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, like, if you think that way. But the thing is, me, like, I actually think I'm getting an amazing deal. I'm getting a $2 billion game for fucking for whatever it is, 80, 90 quid. That, to me, is a bargain. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there will be no other game, and I do mean no other game until Rockstar make the next game that has this sort of production, fidelity, quality, attention to detail, etc. Not even anything from PlayStation is going to touch this, right? I don't mean in quality, I mean in production. So yeah, for me, 100%. Like, you can say I'm part of the problem, and I do agree. I don't agree with some of these, whatever things that they're doing. But just like with Nintendo, they know the value. their IP, and unfortunately, consumers do too.
So it's interesting you say that. So you know what? Let's go back to that. A lot of people don't want to really put these two conversations together, but we've said this 100 times. And Blaze, you said it when you came in the room. You're like, listen, Rockstar can get away with it, right? Take-Two knows they can get away with it with this particular game. I'll use two other big names, and I know this is you're gonna say it's not. I'm not talking about you specifically, but don't you think that Zelda, Mario, could those games warrant an $80 tag?
Zelda for physical, yes. Digital, no, because Nintendo's
Let me
doing
remind
this whole
everybody.
thing.
Okay, that's fine. Physical, I'll roll with that, Wolf. I just
in terms of production cost, Zelda maybe, but most of Nintendo games they don't have that much production cost. Estimations are quite low. The number of people credited to working on them is quite low. Like just as an example, Mario Kart World has 400 and something people credited to its development, right? The average AAA game has 1,500 plus. I wouldn't be surprised if GTA 6 has probably 7,000 plus. Like even Call of Duty has 8,000, 9,000 people credited to its development with a production cost of $1 billion. So, like Spider-Man, Wolverine, right? I think the production cost is 305 million based on the Insomniac leak. 305 million probably will have about 3,500, 4,000 people credited to its development. So Nintendo is getting away lightly. Last I checked, even Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they had roughly about 1,000, and that was the most expensive game from Nintendo. That was the most number of people and the highest production from Nintendo.
And we don't have a number, though? Nib, you don't have a number as far as the total?
I don't have a number. The estimation I saw was around 50 to 70 million. But their most expensive game costs less than Saros.
Wow. Okay, that's
based on the estimations.
There's a return for you guys.
Donkey Kong had 15 million budget. One of these games.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're laughing all the way to the bank. And don't get me wrong. Again, I am part of the problem as well because I invest in Nintendo IP. But I've always said, and I'm just going by the numbers. Right? Nintendo makes significantly higher profit margins than PlayStation and Xbox. Last I checked, it was 35% profit margin for Nintendo, 12.5% for PlayStation, and 3% accountability margin, not operating income, for Xbox, which is probably, it could even be a loss because that doesn't account for hardware loss, right? So Nintendo, as a matter of fact, not opinion, as a matter of fact, they are able to extract more from their consumers. Now, you can say that's good business. Sure, I agree, right? But it does mean they are taking more advantage of their consumers than the other platform holders because their consumers are willing to pay it. And that's just the reality of it.
But let me say this too, but Zelda has always been Nintendo's biggest priced item because even back in the NES era when it first came out, it was $70 and that was an 87. So that is just what Nintendo charges, and they've always held the price of Zelda. So Zelda has always been one of their marquee titles. So, and people complaining about game prices. Well, hell, we were paying $70, $80 for games back in '86.
Yeah. So I paid that for Street Fighter 2 back in the day on Nintendo.
I do think that GTA 6 is probably the best valued game for what you're getting in forever. Like when you take into account, inflation, everything like that. I mean, my friend Amy made a good point. I was saying to her today, like how they're locking out missions and entire stores from the standard version and keeping it exclusive to the ultimate version, which I guess you could view as more premium if an entire shop. 6 entire shops are locked out from that are exclusive or only exclusive to ultimate version customers, and it's like, it makes it seem more premium and stuff. She went, well, why not view it this way? It's a 90 quid game, or in your case 100 quid. It's a 90 quid game that they're literally taking a loss on to a degree, making the game far more accessible to those who don't want to fork out 90 quid when it really is worth that amount of money. I was like, you know what? I can agree to that. Like, it's a pretty affordable Ultimate Edition. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And
but then
what you are getting is an insane, like you said, Nib, a $1.5 to $2 billion.
Yeah, it's unheard of, dude.
But then the value of a game is down to what you value it. Is it worth the price?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Is this game worth the price? Like, for example, Expedition 33, full of price point. Oh, that's 1,000% worth it for what they charged at launch. It's like, that's a banger price. They got that spot on, right?
Right.
If they charged like 70 or something, it wouldn't have done what it did. It's like Hollow Knight Silksong. They priced it appropriately. And bear in mind, Nintendo, they've had to rely on their first party, right? Because the first Switch, they didn't have much third party. Like they don't have the luxury PlayStation has and Xbox has of having all these third party games, right? So what are you gonna do if the third party aren't coming to you? You have to rely on your first party. So of course they're gonna maximize their first party, and they're just really fucking good at managing their first party. And because you don't have a lot of the multiplats, all people are going to buy your single player games. So of course you throw an 80 price tag on it, people are going to buy it because there's not much else to play. And this is the main draw to the Nintendo platform anyway, is playing these first party IP. So Nintendo just have it nice set. And sure, they're getting some third party now, but if you notice, there's a lot of the older shit, right? The stuff doesn't really come out.
So one of the things that Bespoke brings up here is he says when we were talking about, I had asked the question. I said, how come we don't have performance numbers out there when you have the game up for sale, right? And Bespoke says, game isn't done. How could they know performance? Bespoke, I usually run with you on that one. They know what they're going to put out there. I think it comes back down to what the guys were saying on the panel a moment ago when they were saying they're not going to alienate the 90% of the PlayStation audience that has a PS5 base, right? They're just not going to. It's higher than 90%.
There's no way they're putting the game up for pre-ordering and beginning marketing without the game being very close to being finished or finished already.
I agree.
There's no way.
Just remember, guys, the Ultimate Edition of most Ubisoft games is like 120 quid. The Ultimate Edition, you know, like they go ham on that price tag when they release an Ultimate Edition of a game. This is a very reasonable. Mind you,
I don't want to I know people are going to say I'm glazing them. I just want to go through the last few games, right? Again, Metacritic isn't everything. The user scores are also very high. RDR2, 97. GTA 5, 97. Red Dead Redemption, 95. GTA 4, 97. San Andreas, 95. Vice City, 95, right?
Yeah.
Even the GTAs that I didn't adore, like GTA 4, I really enjoyed it, but I love it. Still, there's something about playing a GTA game. Yeah, GTA 4 was not my most loved one, but there's something about playing a GTA.
I know, I was waiting
GTA
for
4 was your favorite. Are you serious?
GTA 4 is amazing.
It's one of the better ones, yeah.
But Vice City and
Vice City was big, yeah.
San Andreas. That was
I do love San Andreas as well. But that's what I mean. Like, there's something about being in that huge world with all these systems and all this traffic and going into fucking strip joints and doing heists and, you know, fucking taking a helicopter in the sky and diving out and just doing dumb shit, right? There's a technological marvel, and it really does feel like an event that nothing else comes close to. Just the level of detail and going by Red Dead 2, right? Red Dead 2 was jump. Like, I would fucking just watch people, and I know most people don't play games like, you know, but I would just watch the townsfolk do their regular shit and go to work and go to the pub and, you know, just little things like the fact the emergent gameplay of a Rockstar game is second to none. I can go out and just get mugged, stripped, and fucking, you know, some lady tries to rape me or whatever. I go into the field and see a KKK, you know, fucking thing going on, or some dude getting eaten by a crocodile. Like, the stuff you see just random going through the world is so unparalleled. It's like these would be like main missions in other games, and then just side stuff that you come across in a Rockstar. So yeah, damn straight. Like, I am super hyped, and I understand some people feel a certain way about the pricing and about the stores and, you know, the customizations being locked behind. I too think that is pretty scummy, but I would say those cosmetics and stuff like that are not. You don't have to have them. And even the cars that they said were expensive, I'm almost sure there was going to be a variant of that cheetah in the game. It may not look the same as the one that's with action, but I don't think they would model an entire car just for the Ultimate. I do think there'll probably be a version of that car in the game anyway.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's scummy. I don't even think the fact that they tied it behind a $20 paywall is scummy. I think the game is $100, and the corporation, the company's doing everybody a service, saying, "Hey, you know what? We know you guys want this game. It's $100 if you want it, but hey, we're willing to make concessions if you're willing to pay $80."
I'll tell you the truth, though. You know what? Wise? That's
beneficial to the consumer, though.
Well, DS. Hold on, before and save your thought for a second. No, the one thing I was going to say was it was mentioned earlier, and we kind of breezed past it. And Wise, by all means, if that's how you feel, it's your money in your pocket. That's fine. I will say I warned this a month ago, if not maybe a year ago. We've been saying, well, they can warrant what they want. They can ask what they want. People are going to pay it. People are going to play it. And we've not forget us on CrossFire. I'm talking about all of these different outlets have been saying this for the longest time. They can do it. They can do it. I'm sure they heard the public, and I'm pretty sure they were like, dude, everyone's saying they're going to pay it. Like, so at this point, it's like, it's okay. If you're fine, you're fine. The thing is, it doesn't matter if you're fine now. It's $80 and $100. And they heard people saying that over and over and over again for the past year at least. So I was like, be careful what you wish for. We're going to end up getting that. But if there was people on all of these shows, and I'm not talking about our shows, I'm talking about the shows that have, hundreds of thousands of people watching live, if not the day after, saying, I'm not paying $1 over $70 around this time, especially with what's going on. Maybe they might not have, but everyone's like, hey, listen, it's warranted, it's worth it, it's this, it's that. Listen, Red Dead Redemption, I think we just heard what Nib said. All these things that were going on in the world and all these things that some people would say were main quests in other games are side quests in this game, if not even just bipartisan moving by. And Red Dead Redemption wasn't $100. If that was $100, it would have been an uproar. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if necessarily we kind of brought this on ourselves.
Mooch, I know you guys are American and stuff, but as I said earlier, like in most of the world, it actually isn't a higher priced game. So, Europe, Asia, whatever, like it.
But they've also taken 13 years to make the game. So,
it's just crazy, dude.
I just want to shout out Aaron, PRND, post-Rockstar neurological disorder. He's really salty about freaking GTA 6 right now. Maybe it's because he'll never own a PS5, self-confession, or a PS5 Pro.
I think he's a PC gamer.
Yeah.
No, he's a Nintendo gamer.
He's a Nintendo gamer.
They gave you what you wanted, Aaron. See? You said you don't get attention, they gave it to you.
Yeah, Aaron loves it. Aaron loves it.
He must be upset with me today.
No, he wanted that. You gave him what he wanted.
Did you guys see the...
bless your heart, Aaron. But that's what PRND stands for, though, isn't it? Post-Rockstar neurological disorder. Like, I mean, that's
what... shout out to Brap. Brap, are you all right? You're on the road. I know you can't stay for long, Brap. You're probably in the middle of a close game somewhere, Brap.
No, I'm actually I'm actually parked right now, man. I'm
Brap on location. Okay.
What's that? You're
on location.
Yes, I'm on location. Yeah. So no game just yet. We got down here early, little family vacation before baseball starts. But I'm out here having a drink, and I was like, let me hop on for like a couple minutes real quick.
Brap, what do you think? Brap, are you getting the $80 version or the $100 version while we have you for a minute?
You know what? I don't know. Like I'm kind of leaning towards the $100 one because of all the extras.
Yes, I think everybody's leaning towards the $100 one.
What's that?
I think everyone's leaning towards the $100 one, or most people, anyways. Not everybody.
I mean, I think a lot of people will. I mean, I think people who've invested. Look, I mean, like people who have spent a lot of time playing GTA 5 or the last God knows how many years, they're going to go out and probably buy the $100 version. They probably suck more than $100 in. Well,
Blaze said it a moment ago. He goes, "It's been 13." This is where my rationale comes out. This is a game that I've owned. I probably bought when it was on sale a couple of times. I have it on PC. I have it on Xbox. I have it on PlayStation. My point being with this, I didn't pay full price for all those. I got them, discounted the first time I paid full price. But my point being is that it's 13 years. So after 13 years, I've waited for this game to come out. I want the best one that's out there. I would have bought the Ultimate Edition even if they were selling the original version for $69.99 and they had a $90 $100. I still would have bought the Ultimate Edition. That has nothing to do with the fact that it's $80 and $100. I was still going to do that. But I think, Blaze, you make a good point. 13 years is a long time to wait.
Absolutely. And then they get away with it. I mean, like, it's not fair to these other... See, Rockstar's gonna get away with Metacritic. Like that's why I get pissed off with like, oh, no online at launch. Because part of me is like, dude, you've had 13 fucking years. This should be all prepared and ready to go. That's just the greedy side of me. Like, yo, what the fuck y'all been doing? But I think there's a strategic side of Rockstar saying, well, this shit is probably ready, but you know, we're doing this deliberately, so you know what I mean, we get the most out of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that it is good that they're doing single player first. The reason why is because I get to enjoy their story. I really do think that they're great storytellers. And if you just go to the GTA Online, a lot of people might just skip the story.
Oh, they're frauds if they do that.
Bro, can we just
That's true.
have you seen the artwork, Mooch, that they've released? Those like some 50 photos of in-game screenshots.
Yes.
Like, mate, the graphical fidelity we are talking about is outrageous. It is absolutely insane.
Did you see the tire, Willie? They got the tire tracks. You can see
bro,
you can see the size of the fucking tires, bro.
Listen, I don't believe it's going to look like that because that shit looks better than Forza Horizon. It's not even a fucking
comparing it.
I mean, for 13 years, it better look like that.
Truck in the game. I'm just happy about that.
Direct comparison, bro, of Forza Horizon 6.
I saw it. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, bro, it was like, share this to trigger Death Singer because fuck me, that looked insane.
I know for a fact if it looks like that, you ain't getting no fucking 60 FPS because that level of detail is so demanding.
Yeah. I will say this.
You know why? You know why I would be quite happy with 40 FPS, Death Singer, and I'll tell you why. Two factors. The first factor is 40 FPS is absolutely fine for me. It's the perfect middle ground for performance and smoothness and fluidity and responsivity.
I prefer it to 60 because extra bells and whistles.
Yeah, but
That's
nevertheless. The second reason why I would be more than happy with 40 is because I know that you would not be buying a PS5 for GTA, and you will not be playing GTA. You will be waiting and waiting and waiting for Rockstar to maybe release it on PC.
Well, the thing is, it's like I don't have. There's tons of games releasing this year, and as it currently stands.
Yeah, but they ain't GTA 6, dude. GTA 6.
He's played Slay the Spire, bro. He's played Slay the Spire whilst
as it currently stands.
And that's not a PC
it's only
player's issue only, right?
It's only
console
a single
players also
game,
have a backlog.
but then it's like,
man, go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, like fucking. The thing is, it's like you look at it like this year, like I got so many games to play. I got like at least from end of August, at least 15 games, right? So if I ignore the single player of GTA, I'm missing out because there's a ton of games that I need to play, and I'm not going to be able to beat all these games before GTA. So if I could wait on GTA, that's not a problem. I'm not getting FOMO from it because it's like, okay, cool, GTA is nice. Everyone can give their reviews on it. Now, if it was multiplayer day one, we'd be having a different conversation. But they're saying single player only.
It's not FOMO. It's 13 years of fucking having to suffer. We want to play the game.
Right.
Of course, we want to play the game, but it's like I'm only worried about catching up to people in multiplayer, right? If it's just single player, I can play that whenever I want. That's something I could look forward to later down the line. But
all I'll say is for me,
you
like,
can do the same for online too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's so many other games that I'm anticipating this year ahead of GTA.
Really?
Like,
yeah, give me. Can I have one, please? Because I know your list is going to trick him. We got same one.
Come on, let's hear the game.
Collateral 2, I guarantee it.
No.
If you have Pillars of Eternity,
Let him answer. Let me
go through it. Let me go
DLC. Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
You
go
know
ahead.
me, Blaze. Don't do that.
Stellar Cheats 2. Stellar Cheats 2.
For example, Star Wars Zero Company at the end of August, right? Then I have Blood of Dawnwalker. Then I have Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Trails in the Sky, Second Chapter, Dawn of War 4, Onimusha. Then I also have Ace Combat 8.
All those single player games, bro.
Star Wars Galactic Racer. Then I also have Valor Mortis. Then I also have Final Fantasy Resonance.
All of that, you're more excited for that than GTA 6?
Most of those, yeah, because they're games I'm actually anticipating. Like, for example, Trails in the Sky.
You're not actually anticipating GTA? Why? Because it's not on PC?
No, it's just GTA. GTA 5 never. GTA never.
It's just GTA. What the fuck?
It's just GTA. No, like five was great when it first released. We all got home, jumped on our 360s, jumped in the party, and all my friends were on 360. But but it's like we jumped in. Oh yeah, let's play online. Oh, online ain't coming out for 2 weeks. All right, cool. And then when online did come out, it was disappointing as fuck because it was dead as fuck. And but then
the first time and goes, let's go online.
But then GTA 5.
What's wrong with you?
Thing is, we played through the campaign, right? And the campaign, it was good. It was a good campaign, but it's nothing. I'm not going to write home about it. I'm not going to say that's the greatest storytelling.
Trevor being a fucking nut job.
But wait a minute, wait. So wait,
cool and everything.
Hold on, wait.
Like a stay-at-home dad, not stay-at-home, like a regular dad. I love it.
What about GTA 4 and San Andreas? What about those games?
I love San Andreas. I love San Andreas, and I love Vice City. GTA 4. It was hit. I can't even remember. I just remember that Vice City and San Andreas.
Well, wait. Before we get to your favorite,
even remember GTA, brother. All right.
Listen, here's my other thing. Wait.
You said it. You said Vice City. That's why I'm even more hyped for this one because not only do we get like a Bonnie and Clyde thing, right?
You're in Vice City.
It's Miami, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Vice
fucking Miami.
It's Vice City.
We're gonna get way more of it than we did before.
It is Vice City, bro.
Like, it's just and look at all the cultural aspects. Not being bad, but with the fucking gangs, the I don't know what you call them. Is a redneck a bad term? Is it a racist term? I don't know. But the equivalent of those, like there's all different. Whatever you want to call them, but all different cultural like pockets, right? I fucking love that.
Was a British person concerned about being racist? Come on now.
But then,
wait. So hold on.
Oh God.
if we're anticipating GTA, but I'm not anticipating GTA as much as I am like the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky.
Oh my God, that singer!
I tell you, Blaze.
Days, bro. I don't even know.
Blaze.
Stuff that is similar to everything else.
War and combat. You had me, bro. All right, but that's all this shit. This weeaboo trash.
Imagine taking your little thing out in the swamp and like crocodiles and all the hillbillies, and then you go to the city nightclubs and fucking living it up, nice clothes, garms. It's gonna have everything, man. It's just insane.
There's a bunch of games that I want to play also, and it's like, well, okay, if I can just wait and I could just play all these games that are here available instead of letting them go to the backlog.
You won't get tired of waiting, bro, for that PC port. You won't get tired of waiting. You won't be playing this bad boy on PS5 Pro. You won't cop out for one.
Here's the other thing.
No, I don't need.
Hold on. Before we do, this is your life, Death Singer. I just want to say, like, the DS Blaze asked you a question. He said, what game are you going to be playing when that game comes out to take your attention? You started with games coming out in August. We're all playing games in August and September and October. He said November. What are you playing in November since every single publisher has avoided November and December this year? And 27 is stacked. So when you're like, I'll just wait to play it later, there's going to be a whole nother list of games you're going to rattle off that you're going to want to play when we've already played that. So my whole point is
Desert. He's still going to be playing Crimson Desert.
No.
What do you want to play in November when we're playing GTA 6? You're going to be playing an August game or a September game?
No.
My backlog.
But Star Wars Hero Company is probably a good week. Then Blood of the Dawnwalker is going to be a long game.
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it is. Very good.
And then Trails in the Sky is easily 50 plus. Fire Emblem, that's easily 50 plus. Dawn of War 4, that's another like 100. Then Onimusha, probably a quick game, I would imagine. And then I'm probably at the end of October coming up to playing Gears E-Day. I'm not even going to be able to play that day one. Ace Combat will be a fun time, but then it's like I then move into Final Fantasy Resonance. That's probably a good 30 hours because that's another long ass.
They put a release date on that? They put a release date on Resonance?
Yeah, it's in October.
Yeah, but you're not answering the question. In November, what are you going to be playing when GTA 6 comes out?
In November, I'll probably be playing Phantom Blade Zero, Final Fantasy Resonance, Valor Mortis.
No, he's going to play Wolverine in November. Oh,
no.
Yo, Mooch.
Yo, buddy, go ahead, Blaze.
Okay, cool. Anyway, let's move
I got
on.
a text last night from the homie Porter Rock. I totally forgot about this. He texted my phone.
Yeah.
And he said, GTA's price has been announced and blah, blah, blah. He's like, do you have Cash App or Apple Pay? And I had forgot I made a bet with Porter Rock. And I forgot I think it was Celtic something, but Portrock paid for my copy of Grand Theft Auto. I just want to say shout out to P-Rock. He's a man of his word.
P-Rock.
I got to salute him. Swear to God. He paid for my whole
what was the bet? What was the bet?
I think it was New York versus Boston in the playoffs or something, or it was gaming related, one or the other. But I forgot, and he totally came out of nowhere and hit me. Like, I got to give him credit.
I just
I respect that. I respect that.
I just made a note to make a gamble with P-Rock in 2027. All right, thank you, Blaze. I appreciate that. I will gamble.
Hey, bro, hey, Mooch,
no, it's great.
This bet was like 2 years old, and I'm like, P-Rock.
Yeah.
He's like, what
he's
game do you want to make a bet
that.
on? I was like, you pick the game. He's like, I'll buy you GTA. And he said that because he knew this game was never gonna fucking come out. I had to wait 2 years to get paid.
Yo, he did it. Yo, shout out to P-Rock, dude. That's good shit.
All right, that's a sweet deal, dude. You got GTA for free.
All right,
Mooch, I gotta go.
Yo, Wolf, thank you, buddy. Yo, Wolf, have a great show tonight, buddy. And, you know, if we're going long, you know, the pool's always open. Come on in, buddy. Jump back in when you get a chance. All right?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yo, great to have you, Wolf.
All right, thank you.
What do you got, Ledger?
I'm gonna throw this out there.
What do you got, Ledger?
Did you guys see those Polish site leaks that talked about how the base model or the base version of it will get the enhanced performance mode as well as the quality modes like we see in the other games?
I saw those. Yeah,
I did not.
I didn't know how legitimate they were though.
Yeah, because if the base has like a performance mode, you know it's going to be close to 60.
Yeah, if the base has a performance and it hits, you know, even if the base hits a solid 40, that speaks volumes for the pro.
Yeah, and remember, with PSSR 2, they can literally go sub 1080p with 4K like image. So, it opens things up a hell of a lot now. In fact, Digital Foundry was saying the current native resolutions are too high. They think they should go lower so they can push more. Because PSSR can handle it now. I'm curious to see what happens. Let's just wait and see.
So wait, now that we're on the topic of performance, real quick, Blaze, because we didn't get a chance to ask you a couple of these questions. What is going to disappoint you? I mean, you're playing the game regardless, but are you playing this game if it's a 40 FPS type of game? Is that going to piss you off? Or you're like, no, I'm good.
Which I'm playing this game at 30 FPS with frame drops. I don't care.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Same.
You know what's funny though?
Honest,
and same. I'm glad. No, and Nib, I'm glad you say that, Blaze. I'm glad you come out and say that. I've seen a lot of people online so excited for this game that they're putting a lot of the criteria that they would normally hold things to. They're like, no, as long as this thing is like, people are like 30, I'll be there. I'll see you guys there day one. Like it's that.
They've been playing Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption at 30 FPS forever. And now all of a sudden they want to have standards like they're too bougie now. Listen, everybody wants 60 FPS. Everybody wants dynamic 40 with VRR. Everybody wants that. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, this is not the ordinary game. There's a lot of shit going on. You know, you got one NPC running the same route, picking up paper, walking back, drinking a coffee. There's so much in terms of reflections, buildings, moving parts, lights. There's a lot going on, bro. So if it's at 30, it's at 30, brother.
So when when PlayStation came out today, yesterday, or it was yesterday today, they said the whole plays best on PS5, and there was the whole controversy going on there. Blaze, when you hear it says plays best on PS5, what's your interpretation of it? Because I already asked the panel what they thought.
Mooch, it might be what me and you argued about. Remember when I said there's no way it's going to be 60 FPS?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you said, no, I think it is.
I do. I think they're going to have a performance mode, yes.
Yeah, listen, that's a huge win. It's a huge win if they do that. But I just think the relationship between PlayStation and Rockstar, all the delays, the price increase, I could see it happening. In my brain though, I still think it's going to be a miracle if it runs at 60. I'm not saying it can't, but it's going to be a miracle.
So, but the question here then, Blaze, that part two of it is it enough to say plays best because of the Tempest audio, because of the DualSense, because of the the features that PlayStation has that like seemingly like Xbox does? Is that where they're running with the slogan? Because you can't really say plays best and have nothing better than the Xbox does. Like, what is it they're promoting then? If they're saying plays best here and Rockstar's signing off on it, they said that it's a joint marketing decision to say that. What is it that it's actually going to have if it's not the frames?
But
resolution. The resolution.
I know you asked him, but
okay, resolution.
They did announce on the blog that it was the things that you mentioned, though.
They did say it was the audio, and they did say it was going to be DualSense, right?
The DualSense,
right?
And the loading times,
and the loading times,
and the loading time. Okay, all right.
But you don't think the Pro's going to have a better resolution, Mooch?
I do, I do. But if
it will, for sure. Yeah.
But if it's going to have a better resolution, don't you think it'll have a better, at least uncapped frame rate?
Yeah, but remember, this plays best on PS5 Pro.
I don't believe
this plays best on PS5.
Necessarily. I believe it will be a better image quality because of PSSR. Native resolution, they might have it just as low as the base PS5, but the output image quality will be far higher, and they'll have enhanced visual features like maybe more robust ray tracing, etc. No,
I'm riding with you guys. I'm asking the question to be a little bit, on the other side of devil's advocate for the show, but I do agree with you. And shout out to Carlos in the chat. He says the words were chose very carefully. Plays best is different than best performance. Of course, Carlos, I agree with that. It's made me a little bit more skeptical on the performance side. I do have a ton of super chats here. Shout out to Shadow. Earlier, Shadow had said that the Xbox Series X is going to cost you $1,000. I said, no, not that much. Shadow comes back and he says, Xbox Series X, $799, 1 terabyte. Plus, he's saying now 1 terabyte Seagate, $199, $1,000 after. But the thing is, though, Shadow, listen, that's a convenience thing. I've always said that. I have they're internal, but extra SSDs that I put into my PlayStation Pros. That's my choice to spend that money years ago and put that in there. You don't have to do that, but I understand your point. Liquid Tada says, they have to keep the hype going. They're not going to release all the information right now. That may be, but I think if Sony has a performance boost somehow, some way, I think they would want to tote that. Babor says, go away. You're not allowed to talk about Soros. Shout out to Babor. Bespoke says, Nib, there was gameplay in trailer 2. Go back and watch it. The GTA 5 gameplay reveal. And remember, that was PS3. I think it just looks that good. I don't know what he means by PS3. Maybe you meant PS5. Shout out to Babor. That was Bespoke. Babor says, I have to address this clown. He says, the engineer going into making a gameplay like Soros for outweighs anything in Crimson Desert. If you know, you know. Babor, we're not going to go back down that rabbit hole, but thank you for the super chat.
So edgy, bro. So
he's edgy. It's Babor. It's Babor. Well, he says that's Babor. T-Rock says, I have 350 hours in Crimson Desert. I don't want to replay it. I want DLC. Crimson Desert combat isn't worth a replay, nor are the bosses or story. And T-Rock has a lot of hours into that. Yeah. 5.0 Trey Gaming. He says, Mooch, a price hike. But what about PlayStation? So me and Trey were going back and forth in the chat. I'll just fill you guys in real quick. We talked and covered the PlayStation price increase. We're going to get right. I think we should kind of move into the Xbox price increase. Go ahead.
T-Rock's point.
Sure.
Crimson Desert isn't necessarily a game that you are meant to replay. It's not a replay game. Saros is a replay game. It's designed to be replayed. That's the point. It's like, that's why you've got 300 hours into Crimson Desert on a single playthrough. You've got 300 hours on a single playthrough, not a repeat playthrough. So that's the point. It's a different type of game to be experienced in a different way. But you've sure as hell got your money's worth out of it, have you not? And if you get your money's worth out of Saros, great. But for me, I just knew that after 20 hours or 25 hours, I'll have beat the game and thought, right, great, I've seen everything I want to see. There's not really anything else that's really compelling me here. Would it be worth the same price as GTA 6 or the same price? No. Crimson Desert being 20 quid cheaper is like, for me, bro, it's like, yes.
Yeah, but Wooly, GTA, Saros isn't going to sell 250 million copies. You know what I mean? It's not, we can't compare.
It probably would have sold 1.5 million if it had been a little bit more.
Yeah, but then it would have made less money as well, right? So remember, it's going to go on sale. You don't have to buy it day one.
Yeah,
because it will be 50 quid at some point. Like the reason they take it is because at the end of the day they can stagger it out. So people who are interested.
I'm not salty about it. I just wish that PlayStation had maybe not done the studio dirty like that.
The only thing I would say is, because I had this debate actually just a few days ago about 007 First Light. Someone was like, "Oh, it's a $20 game pretending to be AAA," and I was like,
he's a twat, bro. He's a twat.
"Yeah." But I was saying like this game cost $200 million to make, including bonuses and marketing stuff, right? And yeah, I get it's only whatever it is, 14 to 20 hours or whatever to play, but you can clearly see an astonishing amount of attention to detail and care has gone into making these ultra rich and elaborate environments and having mundane shit that's so comprehensive. And what I mean by that, there's like a scene in the game where all you do is get in a Range Rover and you go through the streets of London as we're having a conversation, right? But they fucking modeled like London. They modeled a section of London with traffic and fucking smoke plumes and great architecture of buildings, and you literally spend like 5 minutes in that scene and they created a whole ass fucking portion of the city. And I was like, I get it, like it's extreme, but I love that kind of shit because again, it's that immersion factor. When I'm driving through the streets of London, it feels like I'm driving through the streets of London. It feels like I'm on this roller coaster that is taking me, to these extravagant holiday locations and the mountain cabins, technological fucking structures and fancy, office blocks and stuff, and everything feels. Yeah, and I don't care if it's only 15 hours. Like,
hey Nib, it did make me laugh though. How so many people were saying this is better than Uncharted 4. I'm like, bro, go back, replay Uncharted 4, and then say that shit because you will be eating your own freaking words. People they have the "What have you done with me late? What have you done for me lately?" attitude. But if they went back and revisited that game, they'd be eating shit because they'd be like, "Oh,
even Digital Foundry said that when after they played First Light in one of their videos, they said he went back and played Uncharted 4, and he even said he thinks Uncharted 4 is still ahead of First Light. Yeah. And again, I'm not taking anything away from First Light because it's kind of like the Rockstar thing. You can't compare other developers to Naughty Dog. They're just on a different level. You can't compare other developers to Rockstar because they don't have $1.5 billion to $2 billion and 7,000 people to do these things.
And 13 years.
No one else has that.
Right. Shout out to 5.0 Trey. Thank you, Trey, for joining the channel, buddy, becoming a Mooch family member. He says he goes, Mooch, that was just sarcasm. I was reading it wrong. I appreciate it though, Trey. Liquid Tadak comes back. He says, why don't people complain about flying first class? You're on the same plane. Why do airlines hide extra legroom behind a paywall? That's when we're talking about 80 versus 100. That says it's a great point. Shout out to Brap. He goes, Mooch, I'm in Tennessee, and Mooch, he stopped by. So shout out to Brap. Appreciate Coach stopping by. I'm in Tennessee for a baseball tournament. We'll be back July 9th. Guy, mark that on your calendar, July 9th. Shout out to Brap. Rambling Entertained, he says, Silk Song mugged GTA 6. Only one crashed the store. I don't know if that's bragging rights, but that's fine, Rambling. I see what you're trying to do there. Glinster says, why'd Rockstar announce digital only? So damn lame. Guys, are we really upset? Are we going to pretend to be upset about physical and digital still? Are we still pissed that that's... I don't know. I don't know why people are still like... It's coming out in December. By the way, shout out to Wolf. Wolf mentioned it earlier on the show. They've mentioned that they're going to have a... I don't know if they mentioned it. I believe they did. Ledger, did you see it? Or Nib? I think they came out and said that December is when they're planning to have their physical release.
Yeah, somebody emailed their corporate services or something.
Yeah.
HR. Yeah, and then the response
in some official literature, they did also mention it's to avoid spoilers. So if they're to avoid spoilers, that's only for the first, But really, they just want fucking double dippers, man. Those fuckers.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, Nib. I'm backing that up. Liquid Tada says, I saw P-Rock. So he's backing up with Blaze said. He said, I saw P-Rock say that on his video yesterday. Shout out to Tada. Shout out to P-Rock again. And Trey, thank you for joining the channel again. Listen, guys, let's bring it over to the layoffs. We'll talk about, not the layoffs part. I want to talk about the price increase just for a minute. Then I want to talk about Xbox layoffs and Bungie for sure. Xbox raising their prices again. The only reason that this really kind of makes a thing, I'm not making a big thing of it like everybody really is right now, is the fact that we just had Asha take the stage, guys, right? And she's like, exclusives are coming back. And, Xbox is back. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And Gears is yours to enjoy. And Clockwork's going to be yours on console to enjoy. And then you put the consoles, the Series S, Nib, I think you were covering this. The Series S is like $600 right now. It's the same price as a PS5 digital.
Yeah,
right.
1 terabyte Series S is the same price as a PS5.
And the Series X is $800. Nib, how are you going to put your beloved Gears of War and tell people exclusives are back, and people are definitely going to play it on the Series X at $800?
This is the thing, like with this whole strategy, right? It's like, say you have an install of 34, to 40 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I understand you're selling it on PC as well, but I'm talking just the Xbox side. On the Xbox side, the thing is, you've got like 20 million, 25 million Game Pass subscribers. So already a huge incumbent of those users is not even going to buy the game because they're just going to play it on Game Pass like me. And then you're not going to system sell and invite new people in, because who's going to play fucking $800 for a Series X, or $500 for a Series X, especially when Wolverine is there and GTA plays best on PS5 and all that other fucking shit. On that side of the thing, like I don't know, man. It just sounds I just think it's another one of these really bad strategy plays that is probably going to backfire on them, just like every other one.
They've literally signed Coalition's death warrant. Like they have fucked them over so badly, and Coalition must be pissed because why make their game exclusive on a platform that Microsoft are doing everything in their possible capability to make people not invest in. They're like, subscribe to Game Pass, don't buy our games, don't buy our console. We've just upped the price again. Twice in the same year. It's now £800. Don't go to PC, play it on PC. Why would they also release their other titles like freaking Fable? If there is a tentpole title exclusive to Xbox that anybody thinks about, it's probably Fable above Gears. And Fable's coming to PlayStation, right? Forza is coming to PlayStation. Freaking Halo is coming to PlayStation, for fuck's sake. Why not Gears? And the thing is, it's money, right? The termination fees, the cancellations of the contracts with Sony, it's too expensive. It's like, then why Gears? If the issue is money, if the issue is we're not willing to fork out a loss to make these games exclusive, to establish a brand identity for our console, to give our console a unique value proposition, to entice people to buy our console, if you're not willing to do that with all of those games, then why would you do that with Gears? Why do it?
The contract thing is
throwing
bogus.
water into a puddle.
Yeah.
You're throwing water into a puddle. It does fuck all. It doesn't move the needle. It won't sell systems. You've now upped the price of the console. You have just completely fucked over the Coalition guys. And so when the boards meet and all the boardroom execs sit down and they're trying to figure out how to make things look good to shareholders, and they look at the worst performing studio monetarily, which studio has brought the least returns, all eyes will be on the Coalition, because those fuckwits are too corporatized and not in the know enough and not savvy enough to realize that this is actually through no fault of the Coalition at all.
It has nothing. This has nothing to do with the Coalition. Ledger, what were you going to say?
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, the contract, the whole, like, they have to get out of the contract, that doesn't make any sense to me, because you went so far as to put the PS5 logo on that that interview that they had right on YouTube where they forgot to scrub it out. On top of that, you had retailers have access to NPC codes, right? So they went pretty far. They signed all those contracts. So if they can pull Gears, why can't they pull Halo? Why can't they pull Fable?
That's the point.
So I never believed that. I honestly don't know what they're doing with this other than maybe some fan service. My only other play here is maybe they're just trying to make sure people stay on Game Pass. That's like the only other thing I could potentially think of. But again, I don't know that for sure either.
Well, the good thing about...
Remember, they can still bring it to PS5 later.
Yes, so they can.
They said they
Well, it's a good thing that you said, Ledger, that you don't know what they're doing, because I honestly believe that I don't think they know what they're doing.
Right.
Honestly,
Thank you, Wise. Thank you, Wise.
And I mean, to be honest with you, like, I am probably the most proponent of Xbox on this panel.
Yes.
And
DS.
For the life of me, I can't figure it out. I don't know. And to be honest with you, I think what it is you got the Xbox division and you got Microsoft, and I think they're butting heads. And Do I think they're going to flounder Xbox? No, I don't think so. But I don't think they've figured out what they're going to do with Xbox yet either. And that's the problem. They're just everywhere.
3% profit margins, investing billions of dollars is not good, right? Let's all agree with that.
Right. Yes.
I think they're at that point where they're just throwing things against the wall. They're in a really bad position, right? That's usually
they're making the worst decisions, bro. That's the point. They're in the worst position, but their reaction to that is making the worst decisions. There was a right decision to make in this instance, and that was making all games exclusive. Fucking yes, take a hit, but make them exclusive.
That doesn't fit their business model, though, right? Like they will never get out of that 3%.
In order to get their brand back to where it was in the 360 era, they are going to have to sacrifice yet another generation. They're going to have to take a loss for another generation until it gets back. And I think
look at the Sega Saturn.
Yes.
Look at the Sega Saturn. Before that they had the 32X and like a bunch of other hardware. But they kept abandoning hardware through the generations, and then by the time the Dreamcast came out, great system, loved it. It's one of my favorites, but people weren't buying it because they're like, you know what? I'm just going to wait for the PS2.
Yeah,
we know that someone's going to,
money and twigs on a raging fire as fire fuel isn't cutting it. And what they're doing is by sacrificing gears, but it's not going to move the needle. One game isn't going to move the needle. It's not going to establish an identity. It's not going to make the Xbox appear essential. It's not going to do the very thing that making a game exclusive is specifically proposed for. It's not going to do it because it's just one game. It's one tentpole game and some indie BioShock spin-off called Clockwork. That let's face it, isn't a system seller. It's quite a niche game. And so by not making Halo, Forza, and Fable exclusive, they fail to do the very thing that they are intending to do, the very intention that was behind making Gears exclusive. And so they're just sacrificing it for nothing. They're completely screwing over the studio and ruining potential huge sales of a game for no reason whatsoever, because nobody's going to go, oh, I'll buy an Xbox for that one game, Gears.
And generally generally speaking, their games, some are good. I'm looking forward to Fable. I think Forza 6 is phenomenal. Forza 5 was phenomenal to me.
But those are everywhere, though, Wise.
Yeah, those new Halo was good. I mean, I know that, but what I'm saying is their games are good, but it's this shitty practice of Microsoft Xbox, where all of these games that they're putting out that are pretty good are being drowned out with all this chaos going on with corporate, like nobody has any, no faith in the brand anymore. They have lost every credibility of faith. Like people go to PlayStation and they will buy a game on the PlayStation Store or on the Steam Store because they know tomorrow they're going to come back and there's going to be a store.
This is the product of the company pivoting so many times over the last.
Yes, thank you.
Right? They can't go back to console because they've trained their gamers to use Game Pass. I think Moore's Law is dead mentioned it. It's like a 2 or 3 to 1 ratio of Series X's to Series S's and for Series S. So you got the lower end consoles that are out there, and if you're looking at the high end being 35 million, you can't go exclusive with that amount, right? Like with the cost of games today, it's just you're never going to recoup. So they can't really do exclusives all out. There's really nothing about. I just don't know where they go from here.
The other thing, Ledger, everything with the pivot strategy. That's why actually I do that pivot, from friends all the time on X. It gets a rile out of people. But to be honest with you, the reason about it is this: when you say that, you were talking about their strategies on hardware. The other thing that they did in their pivot to the series generation of 2020 that we're living through right now is they also, people don't like to hear it, but they really did kind of. How do I want to say it? They kind of trained their audience not to buy the game. They wanted the subscription service to win. And now you're saying, let's go back to old school mentality. Their biggest push was to put all their games day one. They took seemingly, and I know a lot of people in the Xbox community are like, well, I don't like Call of Duty. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It was the biggest game. They yanked it off the subscription service. What's next to get yanked off there? It's gonna, you know, what's gonna end up happening. This thing's gonna go back to $14.99, I think, eventually. And I think they're gonna take no day and date.
But
I was going to say, you know,
but they also weaponize their fan base. Remember, like Noob, fan of the show, both of our shows, he came out famously and said, "I am not interested in Game Pass. I will buy my game if I want to play the game." And people used to talk about this poor guy, like, you know, oh, you're not really an Xbox fan. Why? Because he doesn't want to pay for Game Pass. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's crazy.
You know?
Yes, it is.
I was going to say, you know, you were saying the plan, right? And I do get worried because actually Jeff Grubb put out a really good video talking about how he personally doesn't trust Xbox anymore and thinks they kind of crossed the line with what they did with Ninja Theory, right? Because he was saying wild, bro. He's saying basically they advertised a game almost like a meat market to sell the studio, not the game, which is a weird thing, right? Imagine seeing a game, but it's not this. You should be excited to play this game. It's we're going to lay these people off, and if the investors out there are interested in this game, well, you can pick it up and finish it off, and then other people play it. And that is a fucking crazy dynamic to have for a show.
Yeah.
You know what's insane about that is, like, if you look at exactly what they did there, as you mentioned, usually when you get smoke to these rumors of trying to sell the asset, and Xbox in general, like if you look outside of even just the gaming industry, these leaks start happening. You start seeing things like what they did with Senua. And you can't ignore it. Like it's getting investors and Wall Street really looking at Xbox. So
they made this answer on like press, and it was something like, "Oh, Call of Duty is like a bigger IP than," like they were comparing it with movies, and I can't remember what it was. Yeah, it was Marvel. And when I was watching, and when I was watching that, I was like, "That sounds like a pitch to investors." That actually does not. The only relevance of that is like, "Here, guys, this is a really prominent IP. It's worth a lot of money," you know. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. And he is kind of right now. And there's all these rumors about them spinning things off. Obviously, we're going to get to the layoffs. So far, the rumors are panning out. Not just the rumors with Bungie.
So far, Nib, everything we said about freaking the Activision Blizzard consolidation spree and the deal going south has come true. Everything we said, down to the finest detail, has come true. The overheads, they weren't anticipating, they hadn't thought things through. It was knee-jerk reaction. Everyone was cheerleading it. Now everyone's acting shocked. All the big fry people who thought they know better, who were laughing at the small fry, saying this is a bad idea, this will not go well. Now they're eating their own words, and they look stupid, and yet they're acting shocked and puzzled. Like the Destiny Carries, the Ryan McCaffreys, they're all idiots, bro. They're all idiots.
Yeah, because like first of all, one could I'm not really raising pitchforks with what they did with Ninja Theory, because corporations do that all the time. They'll put out an asset to see if some other corporation will buy it out for them, so it's not a big deal. However, the way they handle all of their stuff, it doesn't make any sense. Like even Call of Duty, one could argue had no business going into Game Pass from the beginning. And so it's
what were they thinking doing it, Wise? Why did they do it? Because
I think it's a Hail Mary, in it. Maybe this will be the game to push Game Pass finally.
I think they opened their mouth. They opened their mouth. They put their foot in their mouth. Because here's the thing, so you're right, Wooly. You're right. Why would they do that? That's a moneymaker for them, and they needed that revenue. They needed that money to come in from that large purchase. The thing about it is you cannot. I'll give them credit for this. All their first party games go in there day and date. They did it, but then they realized it don't work. It just doesn't work. And again, it's the way we consume media. You can't say because it works for Disney Plus, it works for Game Pass. It's not the same way you consume media.
You can't go around saying everybody exclusives don't matter and have their small, minute, unimportant demographic of hardcore fanboys who parrot everything that they say, repeating the same thing, that exclusivity doesn't matter. You don't need a unique value proposition for a console for the console to do well. You can't go around trying to convince normal fucking people with ordinary brains the complete opposite of what is logical. And unfortunately, Xbox have tried to do this. They've gone round trying to convince everybody that handheld PCs are Xbox consoles, that exclusives are bad, that if everyone games, we all win, and you can have your cake and eat it. You can play free shit, and the devs won't suffer because we'll subsidize it, and because we're rich, subsidizing a subsidiary that is not making any returns is in fact making losses year on year is a sustainable business model, and having people in the industry repeating that nonsense, right, that it's a sustainable business model, who should know better, the Destin Legarys, the Ryan McCaffreys, the Paris Lillys, right, the Colt Eastwoods, none of that shit resonates with normal people with normal fucking brains.
I was just going to say, gamers in that sense are pretty savvy. Well, I wouldn't say savvy, they're simplistic. It's not, okay, you're trying to sell me on this bullshit, this subscription, this cloud, whatever cat sat on the mat. We just want quality games. That's literally all it fundamentally.
Why would I play Call of Duty on Game Pass? Why would I subscribe to Game Pass to play the game that has a free-to-play mode, which is all I really play?
Or if you're a casual and you're only buying 2-3 games a year, say you buy FIFA and Call of Duty, why are you going to drop fucking $300+ to play the games that you were playing less for, like considerably less for? It just doesn't make sense. And then you're playing free-to-play games the rest.
When it's the time sink, the more time you spend on one game, the less value proposition Game Pass has. Because the whole point of Game Pass is turnover of content for the price, for the fixed price.
So it was a Hail Mary, guys. Like, that's just what it was. They were losing the console.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right? Yeah, because they were supposed to be at 44 million in 2023, right? They were at 20. Again, I'm not including
Game Pass subscribers by 2030. Don't forget, even Phil Spencer said we need to be at 100 million Game Pass subscribers by 2030.
Right.
Yeah.
But they
thought maybe Call of Duty could push them up, but yeah.
Did they really think, like, to Mooch's point, people only play a handful of games a year?
That's
casual if you're going to get 100 million, right?
Yeah. I say that all the time because we have people on the show all the time that are in the gaming community, and the gaming community is by far the hardcore, right? So when I ask like DS, and I'll always say, hey, DS, what are you playing? He'll list off like 5 games. And I always say this, I'm like, because he does stay in his bubble a bit. He talks to a lot of people in the community. He'll be like, well, this is what people, people don't do that. I have friends that game. They're not gamers, but they game. They play the same 2 games every year. Like I said, they'll play NBA 2K, they'll play Madden, they'll play Call of Duty, they'll play Apex Legends, but that's it. Like they rotate. They don't play these games. I said on your
podcast, I think it was in early 2024 or 2023 end, I can't remember, one of those 2 days. And I said, I'm pretty sure it won't go beyond this like kind of enthusiast volume of subscribers, because the people who use Game Pass are people like me and you who actually play loads of games.
They play a lot of games. Yes.
I remember I even said to my brother-in-law, I was trying to get him, are you interested in Game Pass proposing what if Call of Duty goes on there? But his thing is like, well, is FIFA on there? No. Why am I going to spend 280 quid when I buy Call of Duty every year from the supermarket on a deal for like 40 quid?
Right. And I had a friend. So Nib, I'll backpack that real quick. Well, I'll give you the mic in a second. But I had a buddy of mine at works, and he was like, "Oh, well," he goes, "Yeah, but he goes, don't you guys also play a lot of sport?" He goes, "Game Pass is really good for sports fans." And I go, "Yes and no." So I said, maybe the casual, I'll play a few games, yes, because like the NHLs and the Maddens go in 5 months later. But I said the people I know that are hardcore sports fans, they're buying Madden day one. They're buying NBA day one. So they're not waiting 5 months.
Play, so it doesn't. Yeah, they're
so even if FIFA, I don't think FIFA or FC's ever made it. I don't know if has FC made it into Game Pass, but even if it has, it's 5-6 months into after it comes out. People have already bought it. Like I don't know.
Gets it too, right? Like I think FC 26 is on last month or this month.
Yeah.
And you pay way less.
Paul Dessinger's going to see all of GTA 6 on YouTube before he plays it, because it's in YouTube shorts, key moments, story beat.
It's all right.
He's going to screw him over, but never mind.
Games on YouTube, but it's like I'm not missing out. On
no, he's not gonna. Well, he's not gonna miss it. I'm gonna have.
You're missing out on GTA 6.
I'm gonna have GTA 6 playing. I'm gonna have GTA 6 playing right here on CrossFire, so he'll be able to see it right here live.
I don't need to see it because I don't.
I was saying, Mooch. I've said to you for years, Mooch, that they fundamentally misread the market, thinking that Game Pass appeals to casuals, and it's a complete opposite. And and not only that, but on top of not appealing to casual, because a casual only buys 1 or 2 games, as Snib and yourself have covered.
Yep.
They're not going to sway the hardcore demographic because they're already in their invested ecosystems with a rental option. A rental option is not enough of a unique value proposition for a platform to sway a market. You need exclusive content, and they've not been given that, and yet they think that a rental alternative, and it's still an alternative. They've not even locked any of the IP they bought onto Game Pass. They've not locked it behind Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
They've not made Game Pass essential. They have just been throwing money into the shitter for years.
Let me tell
the
you,
worst managemental decisions ever made. You could ever make. They have made the worst. And everybody thinks you've got the Colt Eastwoods in there wearing his suit for the ABK acquisition, thinking, what do these small fry know about business? Microsoft are $1 trillion company, and you've got all of these, all of these goons saying the same thing. And yet everything that we've said has happened. Why? Because it's common freaking sense. It doesn't take a genius to work this out.
But let me say this. It makes sense on paper, right? Okay, everyone says, okay, they lost the most important generation, PS4, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. Okay, well, how do you offset all of these games that these people already have? Well, you give them a rental service and they give them all the games. But therein lies the problem. They thought it was the volume of games that is why people are sticking to their platform. It's not the volume of games. Those games that those individuals bought on their whichever platform they bought them on were highly curated to their specific selection. And they now have a mass of games they are eagerly wanting to play because that's what they bought. You can't just give them Game Pass with all of the stuff that's in Game Pass, like your South of Midnights and your Hellblades and stuff, and have that equal their library that they bought one game at a time on another console.
I honestly think, like, when he said that, we lost. To me, it always sounded like excuse making, because I still believe to this day the most important thing is actually your library. And I don't mean like diversity and this and that, because let's be honest, most exclusives, or even on PlayStation, even on Nintendo, right? Like Bayonetta 2 doesn't sell much, but they still make it, right? They're diversifying. Saros didn't sell much. It's not that every game has to sell gangbusters, but you do need that small handful that are the tentpole, like, fucking system sellers. Your Last of Us, your Uncharted, your God of War, your, whatever. Like, even GT7 actually this year, this time has sold apparently 16 million on PS5. Even that technically is a system seller. Just keep in mind, the best-selling Halo ever was 14.5 million, right? So you need these big tempo titles, your Breath of the Wild, your Tears of the Kingdom, your Mario Kart, your Smash Bros, etc., that sell a lot. Even Animal Crossing, right? I think it sold 30 plus million, which is insane. And Xbox still don't have that. Over a decade later, they don't have that system selling. I think Forza's like the closest thing, but that's also on PlayStation now. Crazy.
And even the CEO comes out and says, "Well, if I made a good game, they wouldn't compel people to."
Yeah, I know. When he said that, I was like, "You're cooked, bro. You're cooked."
Like, what the hell?
I have.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, "This is over for Xbox now." Honestly, when he said that, I was like, "I know the fanboys are going to hate me, but I didn't even say it publicly." But I thought, "That's it. Xbox is cooked." Because that tells me that person does not have the drive or the belief in themselves to get that output.
Nib, he's talking about the present tense. And I first of all, I agree with what you're saying, Nib. I'm not going to say I disagree with you. I thought at that point it was over. Like you say, put a fork in them, they're done. But he was talking in present tense. He goes, it's not like a good game right now is going to sell consoles. And let me just bring us to today. Would you guys agree on the panel that Gears E-Day is going to be a very good game with a good name? It's got house recognition. People know what that game is. Gears E-Day is a console exclusive as of today, and it is not going to sell. And what he was saying was it's not going to move consoles.
Yeah, not a Ragnarok or Love
Gears E-Day, Fable, Forza 6, and Halo that
Yeah, that's
would have
solid.
sold
So
consoles.
Halo is.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way,
Wait.
Aggregate of the exclusives.
The new
Yeah, it's
new
not really-
Halo, yes.
If those four
Yes.
games were announced as exclusive,
yeah, I agree.
and say we've and they paid the cost to get to remove Forza from the PlayStation Store, Tim Dog would have had a.
That's not the point. Listen, it's not about what anybody. It's not about what anybody's going to say on X. My point is that I don't agree with that. I actually don't agree with that. At this point in time, right now, 100 million to 30 million, and you put Fable exclusively, and it's not going to be exclusive, by the way, because it's still going to be on Steam. So I wouldn't want to buy.
Yeah, I take it back. Not at these hardware prices.
Not at these prices, and not with it on Steam. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I really don't. I do not.
I think the macroeconomics just don't support them anymore.
Go ahead.
And not while Game Pass exists. Not while Game Pass exists.
Go ahead, Ledger.
It's too much sales cannibalization.
Okay, so a couple of things, right? I agree with you, Mooch, because they've done this before. They've done this other generations. All these games were exclusive.
Right.
It didn't work for them.
Doesn't work.
Right. And realistically, let's look at history. It is very hard for number 3 to compete when Nintendo and PlayStation are on their game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just always been the case. Yep. Sega, gone. Right. GameCube was not great. Right. It wasn't like, I think a lot of people soured on Nintendo 64 when the great GameCube came out, but that's when Xbox started, right? So Xbox came, the 360 was the best generation, but why was it the best generation? The PS3 was an absolute shit show, and the Wii was not really a gaming console, as in the high-end space. And then, I don't know if you guys remember this, but even after the whole TV debacle, Xbox One wasn't that much further away from PlayStation 4 in terms of sales. I don't think that really sunk them.
I gotta disagree with you, bro. But I'll let you finish.
Factually, he's right though, based on the numbers out the gate.
No.
Even this generation.
The whole point of that third place can't compete with. First of all, Nintendo. Nintendo was.
Hear me out.
Yeah, sorry.
Let me finish my thought there, right? So Nintendo was a little weak then, right? Because the Wii U debacle hit them. So you had two obvious prominent players in the game at that point. It was, and everybody, I don't know if you guys remember this, but people were telling, Nintendo, wrap it up, put your games on Xbox and PlayStation at that point after the Wii U.
After Wii U, yeah.
Then they came back with the Switch and did gangbusters. And then PlayStation 4 and the Switch basically dominated consoles. You started hearing less about Xbox, and that's when they went into this whole Game Pass model, and they tried all these different things. It's just historically, all these pivots. I don't know if the market for high-end console gaming, or even just whatever Nintendo is doing with the handhelds, is I don't know.
Let me ask you, Gaming Ledger, though.
I just want to say one thing, and just to disagree. What I was disagreeing with is saying that games don't sell consoles, and you mentioned the PS3, bro. Xbox 360 dominated the first 3 years. It was, and it was full on Xbox 360 versus PS3. They only dropped the ball.
I agree with you. I think games do sell consoles.
What did
PS3's exclusives turned it around? Uncharted 2, God of War 3.
That's my point. That's my point. Is that PS3? It was the games that made PS3 sell. It was the games.
It was
and PS4 and Xbox One, and PS4 and Xbox One both were shit at launch. Xbox One had Forza 7. And
Xbox had better games, I think, at launch.
Xbox One had Forza 7, but was a significantly weaker console, where run with 720p blurry output, and PS4 was offering 1080p. But PS4 didn't have great games until Bloodborne came out, but it was the games that catapulted.
But then they had Last of Us remastered, though, dude. That sold what, 18 million, right? Not including the PS3 version.
And you guys remember it towards the end of
bro.
Yeah, do you remember towards the end of the 360 and PS3? That's when the flip happened, right? Obviously, PlayStation focused on their single first-party tentpole games.
Exactly,
they were amazing. And then Xbox, at the same time, at the end of that generation, decided to go in on Kinect. Yeah,
exactly. That's why they fucked up.
Yeah, and
it's kind of like when the corporations go back and cater to the hard base, they do well. Huh? What a thought, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I was just going to ask the basic question, right? Keep in mind, I am a fan of Xbox still. I don't hold them to the same standard as Nintendo and PlayStation, but only because of the games. Because when I think like my favorite games of all time, Xbox actually is in a lot of the positions, but only their past consoles, like 360 and original Xbox, right? Nothing really from the modern day. But when I look at PlayStation and Nintendo, their modern games from Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy, Uncharted 2, fucking Uncharted 4, Last of Us 2, these games, God of War, Ragnarok, these games are encompassing my favorite games of all time, even though they're modern games. And I think the market resonates with that, because look at some of PlayStation's best-selling games, Last of Us and fucking God of War Ragnarok. They're actually the 7th best-selling PS5 game of all time. Spider-Man 2 is the number 2 best-selling PS5 game of all time. Not including fucking bundles.
And the most disappointing.
It's just one more thing. I think I gotta say before I get off of this topic, but it is the games, yes, but the PS3 started selling when they started dropping the price and revising the console, right? It was way too expensive at launch.
Yeah.
And then of course, like
I agree. Combination of both.
Right.
Don't forget too.
It's a combination.
We have the one thing. Shout out to. I just want to give him credit here. Shout out to Kevin Kendall in the chat. He says 360 also had a year head start. That's something.
Well, let me also say,
they also had Mass Effect, Bioshock,
big exclusive third-party deals.
Yes, I like these words that are about to come out of my mouth here. Anybody who is an Xbox fan, I would venture to say, joined and became a fan during the 360 era.
Yes,
I don't
correct.
think they gained any fans in the One era or the Series X era.
Well, I wouldn't say, never speaking absolutes wise, but I know what you mean. Very low numbers. Yes, very low numbers. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Fucking Gears of War. When I saw that, I actually could not believe what I was seeing. I was like, is that even real? Like, is it really going to look like that on this console?
Mate,
it blew my mind.
Night vibes. The city was so Arkham Knight. It was amazing, bro.
Honestly, back then they were just banging. They had timed exclusivity on one of the Elder Scrolls games as well. Like I remember they just had even for GTA they had like timed exclusivity on the DLC as well for that.
Yes.
And Call of Duty. They had the time.
Were we not talking about Gears E-Day then? Sorry.
No, I was talking about Gears of War, the original, very first Gears of War. And they had that. They had fucking Fable was banging. Like they had so many amazing games. It was like you could not notice this console. You could not invest it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would literally be missing out on some of the best games ever made.
Gears 2 with it when you're on the rails and you shoot
across
the rails. Oh, bro! Like
I think
people
Gears 1 when you first used that Hammer of Dawn. Fuck me, dude. The Berserker smashing through the walls. That was epic, dude.
Yes.
Like the tension, the thrill, the fear. Like
I know that
I'll never forget this.
Now I know that I'll let you Wise. I'll let you get your word in here. I just want 2 quick super chats here. I do want to move on to the Bungie Xbox layoffs real quick. Then I'll give you the mic, Wise. Shout out to Fi Amire, I think that's how you're saying it. 5011 says, Death Singer, leave these Dinobots in the dust, mate. Shout out to Fi, big DS fan. The OA is here and says, from the get-go, a lineup of Forza, Halo, Gears, and Fable won't sell consoles. But if they have buzz and are nominated to awards, people will start paying attention and considering an Xbox. It's a slow process. I'm kind of with OA on that right now. And you said that, Nib, earlier when you were saying we're talking about like Fable. We're talking about this new Fable like it's still the hype of the old Fable. This and people that are listening to this show now are like, well, I'm a big Fable fan. That's great. But are your kids, are their friends? They don't know what Fable is. So like, is Fable going to be... Go ahead.
Glints has made the best comment in the entire comments.
What did he say?
Tonight. He put, Death Singer wants Larian Studios to make GTA.
No, that's not what he actually. No, wait, that's
Mooch, on that.
Go ahead. He said something else.
Mass consumer adoption, right? I remember I watched I think it's like teens react and elderly people react. There's like a YouTube channel, right? And they were playing Last of Us. And I remember that I looked, I can't remember, it was something ridiculous, like 18 million views, right? And everyone playing that game in the reacts was like bowled over by this game. They were crying when Sarah died. They were gripped throughout, right? They're literally like, they were even the elderly people who were playing it, they never played games before. They were like, if this is what gaming is I want to get into gaming. And I just remember the views were insane. The comments, all the people were like, fuck me, this is what gaming is today. We need to get into games. And I knew at that point, this is like a cultural zeitgeist game. It's probably going to sell, 10, 15 plus million. And it went on to sell like 23 or something. It's probably even higher than that now. And I just think Xbox hasn't had one of those, in the last over a decade. And that is what they need. They need that level. Yeah, go on.
I think that, I always say this, but Xbox lost its soul when Peter Moore left. That's, to me, is like, when he was gone, they brought in Don Matrick. Nothing against these guys, but that guy, Peter Moore, was such a juggernaut.
I think the heart
was like
Ledger, I'll ride with you there with Peter Moore. Peter Moore was the heart. I will say this, and I said this back 10 years ago, okay, longer. Yes, I understand the debacle of TV. I understand the debacle of Kinect. I'm not going to go down that road again. But what Donnie D did isn't necessarily outside of what we said was the success of the 360. He locked in exclusive games. He got Titanfall forever. He got Rise of the Tomb Raider or whatever. He got that for a year. Yeah. He got what was it? I know you guys are not. You laugh at some of these titles now, but they were bigger back then. Was it Dead Rising 3?
Quantum Break and
Quantum
Rise,
Break,
Son of Rome.
Rise, Son of Rome, and then they had Forza. They had Forza release with it. Like, that's not a bad year. Like, year and a half, and like I think Quantum.
Yeah,
pardon me. Wait,
what are you going to play? Tomb
Quantum
Raider
Break
or
was
Uncharted?
Quantum Break was 3 years later. But go ahead.
But out of those, Quantum Break or one of the productions, it's not enough. It's not on that level.
No, but that's not the point. I'm not comparing this to PlayStation. I'm talking this about the people who are running Xbox. I don't think Donnie D necessarily did as bad a job as he got absolutely destroyed for. He brought a lot of games to the console. And what's funny too, coming from the 360 era and PS3 era, I, for one, who like all things tech, like I love all the new tech that we have out there, right? I mean, there's people that have been on this show the past couple of weeks that are ranting and raving about their Teslas, picking them up, driving the car for them, right? So when I saw that, this was the advertising, I'm not talking about the actual, but the advertising, and they were like, do you have more than one gamer tag in your house? And you're like, yeah, I do. And it's like, well, now with this really cool, Kinect, when this person walks in, bang, they'll know who it is. Oh, when this person walks in, they'll know who it is. And you can say Xbox on, and you can do this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then there was hand gestures and everything. And I was like, you know what? Listen, plus the games, plus you're giving that, plus I had Snap. I could have my New York Football Giants on in the corner while I'm playing a game. I'm like, man, a lot of this shit sounds pretty fucking cool. And people were like, this sucks. And I was like, oh, all right. You know what I mean? I was like, I thought it was pretty cool and ingenuitive, right? Yeah. To a certain extent. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the PS5 was $100 cheaper too. The PS4.
It was $100 cheaper, but it didn't have the camera in the box. But yes, correct.
Yeah.
And people were like,
it is said on, I've read a few tweets lately that Don may have ruined the Xbox One generation, but Phil Spencer's destroyed the Xbox console brand completely because
I think it's Microsoft.
So
yeah, it's not. It's Phil. It's Microsoft.
But you know what? People say that, but you know what I find crazy? Microsoft are the ones wanting a return on investment. Xbox were the ones pushing. No, we don't need to make money. Everything's fucking free. And thinking that's a sustainable business model. It was Xbox who wanted to push for consolidation.
I don't think that's how they looked at it. I think they thought this is a loss leader. We're investing for the future. Once we have 50 plus million, 100 million subs, then we'll be laughing.
And,
right?
But how they decided to go about that was instead of spending $3 billion on amazing third-party or second-party IP and deals and exclusives, they thought, I know. Let's spend 10 billion minimum on giving away free shit for $1 and paying devs to have their games, and then let's spend another 90 billion on IP acquisitions because we won't reach the target that we thought we would be able to reach because we haven't read the market. So when I say that it's Xbox's leadership and Phil Spencer that has ruined the console
I agree.
brand. It is
I just want to say one thing.
It was them who had all the bad ideas, bro. It was Xbox who had all the bad ideas. It was Phil Spencer who had all the bad ideas. Who tried to take
I don't disagree with you. Well, I don't disagree with you. I would take this back to Xbox 360 because they were doing well, right? I think we all talked about it. There were 80 million consoles. But who told them to start ripping off the Wii, right? Because that was the strategic direction. Start going towards what the Wii is doing because it's so successful. Was that Xbox management, or is that something that Microsoft kind of nudged them towards? Like, hey, that thing is making lots of money. Go do that.
Yeah, probably Microsoft, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, and Microsoft is a copycat company. They don't make anything original. They take other stuff and they threw money at it, right? So I feel like that's where it's.
I think some of the technology we've mentioned has been copycat, but I think a few things that they were the first ones to have the Ethernet port on the back of the box and things like that, right? So shout out to Nick Marcel.
Xbox Live.
Shout out to Nick Marcel real quick. He says, do you think LaFay and Intergalactic are $80 now? That's a great question. I think we talked about this earlier, and the answer is, of course, possibly, right? I will say this. I was wrong with GTA. I thought GTA I knew they'd have a $90, $100, $110, $120 Ultimate Edition or Collector's Edition or something. I thought they would have stayed true to the $69.99. I think in the predicament and how long, in good faith, I don't think, and Intergalactic, think about this for a second. LaFay, you have a talking point, but it's not Kratos, so it's a parallel story in the universe. I say no. Intergalactic, probably my game I'm anticipating the most this generation more than anything else. It's a new IP. I think that's extremely dangerous to put an $80 game out of a new IP. If you said it was like an Uncharted or something like that, or a beloved thing, or a God of War with Kratos, because it's the next iteration of Kratos, still maybe. But those two you mentioned, I'm going to say no. I do not think those two would be warranting the $80 tag. Not because of production, because Nib was in the production numbers. It is
interesting they haven't tried it yet, whereas even Xbox tried it with Outer Worlds 2. You know, it's funny that PlayStation has been the last to this.
Let me say this, and I definitely have to log out. I'm sorry. My rice is ready. Yes, I'm an Asian and I eat rice. And yeah, that's racist, but Asians are racist too. We learned it from the British. So there you go.
Oh.
No,
but that's not racist. What Asian doesn't eat rice? That's like every Asian eats rice, pretty much. Almost.
I wanted to get a rise in your knickers somehow. No, but I think it was Peter Moore who famously said it, that, you don't make enough money on a console. You only make enough money on a console to be able to fight the next console generation. And we see Sega lost one generation. They had another one that was sort of successful, but it was not enough to bail them out of the pitfall that that console that failed caused them. And now you have two generations back to back where Microsoft has lost the consoles. And I don't know if they are wanting to go back to try a third time. People will say, oh, well, wait a minute. Microsoft's coffers are bigger and they can withstand the loss. Yeah, that's true. But why should they? I don't think Satya is like Ballmer. He is not like Ballmer, who says, okay, I'm going to eat $9 billion for the Red Ring of Death. Satya is going to say, oh, we're not making money. We're just going to close this shit down. And that's the thing.
No, they're not doing that anymore, dude. They wouldn't be having... Yeah. They wouldn't have laid off already 4,000 people in the previous year or two, and then now they're having mass layoffs as well. You don't do that unless you're saying, I need my return on investment and I'm cutting the fat. I'm not. Basically, Satya is saying, we're not making losses anymore. We need to turn this ship around. And
you don't go on interviews and you don't talk about distressed assets, right?
Exactly.
Like, I tweeted this a few times. I was like, they talk too much, and you got to stop making this look like a distressed asset. Right, you got to turn it around and make it look like it's something appealing.
But I think after ABK, those glory days of being on the sidelines is gone. Now you've got the full attention on you. You know, you cost $74.5 billion. This isn't fucking small show anymore. It's like it's in the big leagues. You could have spent that on AI or whatever else, right?
And let's not underestimate just how terribly directionless they were during the ABK acquisition. On one hand, you had Matt Booty going, "We're gonna spend these guys out of business," meaning Sony, literally talking about basically undercutting the competition through monetary reserves, and again taking further losses to basically exhaust the money that the competition has, so that they shut down. Spending them out of business. You had Matt Booty saying that, and on the other hand, you had Phil Spencer promising that COD will never be taken away from PlayStation. So like, they didn't know what the hell they were doing, and everybody was like shitting on Jim Ryan at the time, saying he's you had literally professionals in the industry talking about how Jim Ryan's been a crybaby over ABK. You had Ryan McCaffrey saying it. You had them all saying it, right? Like it was top trumps, like it was a kindergarten argument taking place, having no idea what they were actually trying to do. Jim Ryan was trying to literally put those litigations in place to stop COD from being exclusive and taken away from PlayStation.
Yeah, and not just that. Don't forget, even the case itself, what it dragged on for like a year or two. In that time, they were capitulating their market share, and they were losing badly. And with the longer it went on, the weaker Xbox became, right? Because they didn't have Call of Duty to fall back on. They didn't have ABK IP and all the rest of it. So, you know, like, as much as people slate on Jim Ryan, he did what was his fiduciary duty for the company, and it worked out.
He succeeded in exactly what he intended to do. But the crazy thing is, though, is I still can't get over how everybody thought this was a good idea. How you had all these people cheerleading this, and when 3,000 jobs were axed as soon as ABK were purchased, it was like, oh no, 10,000. Didn't he axe 10,000 jobs in a year?
No, that was Microsoft as a whole. But in Xbox, it was 4,000.
They literally bought 10,000 staff through the ABK and then let off 10,000 staff after buying them. Like, it's
let
mad.
off 4,000. It was 1,900 from ABK, and then again another round. I think it was 900 and something. But altogether, it was. I don't know what the count is now, but it will probably be well over that. But when I did the head count back then, and it was me and journalists, we were looking into it, and we were just over 4,000.
They were all saying 10,000 though, all the articles, weren't they?
No, that was Microsoft as a whole.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Microsoft as a whole took on ABK as a subsidiary, and purchased ABK, and then they let off the amount of staff in Microsoft as a whole.
Oh, I see. You're talking about not just in the gaming.
No, not just in the game. 4,000 in Xbox division, which is inordinately big because it's such a small percentage of Microsoft. But they, in essence, try to basically axe the amount of heads that they purchased, and everybody was thinking this was just, oh, that's part and parcel of consolidation. It's like, you cheerled that you wanted that to happen. Like,
I mean, people were saying it's for the employees, more job security. I'm like, what the fuck? I said on here, I even shared on my X, right? And I just want to clarify, I was also against PlayStation, large-scale acquisition as well, and Embracer, and what's it called, Chinese Tencent or whatever. Because the thing is, like, all the studies from Harvard, from the Easy Institute of Economics, all of them say after large-scale acquisition, there tends to be a 6 to 8.5% workforce cut because there's, crossover, there's redundancies, all things, right? So when people were saying job security, I'm like, are you accounting for generally after large-scale acquisition, there can be between 6 to 9% of the workforce labor. And in Xbox's case, it was over 20% because it wasn't just the redundancies, it was also the bad performance. It was also games not pushing Game Pass and games not selling well, and at Call of Duty completely cannibalizing its own sales on Xbox and all sorts of other things. So, it was considerably worse than any other publisher besides Embracer. So literally Xbox and Embracer, they were in a complete league of their own in terms of layoffs as a percentage of workforce versus everyone else. Even PlayStation, with all the fucking Bungie and everything else, all their like layoffs, was still, I think it was like 9% workforce, right? In comparison to 20+% on Xbox side. And another piece of information as well on PlayStation side, like this
after the cuts.
Yeah, this year they have 12,300 employees, and the previous 2 years they had 12,700. But in the previous year before that, they had 10,000.
So you know what's funny, Nib, you're talking about that differential, right? And how even after the layoffs, PlayStation ended up with more employees than they did in previous years.
Still hiring.
So
all they're doing is cutting what they think is not good.
We got a lot of pushback. Got a lot of pushback from a couple people in the chat last week, and that was actually a news article that came out 2 days after CrossFire last week.
Well, yeah, I'm basing their own financial report.
Yeah, that
so
was.
But
they were specific to that. I thought that was interesting.
I'm literally basing it off factual data.
That's right.
It's not just an opinion.
You know what that happens, bro? You get these armchair analysts who write articles on Windows Central, right, and shit. Listening to this podcast, listening to the fruits of Nib's labor, and then taking what he says and running with it with an article and taking the credit.
So let me
That's
ask
what they do.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is if they said, "Oh, where'd you get your numbers from?" I would just open up the financial report, go directly to the amendium that is on the workforce, and show them exactly where it says that. So that's a factual first-hand source directly from Sony, right? So it's not a made-up number. So when I say, yes, they laid off people, but as a matter of fact, based compared to 2022, they have over 2,000 more employees than they did in 2022, right? That's a matter of fact. They do have less than they did the previous year, 400 less. But again, they laid off, I think it was over 1,000, but they hired a tremendous amount back. Hence, the difference was only 400. But that is not the case with Xbox. When they may be hiring a few people, but the overall workforce has dropped like 22,000 to like sub 18,000 now. It hasn't, gone up back to 20 or 21. That's not what they're doing.
Was that in the Form 20 annual report?
I believe so. Yeah, I'll send you the link if you want. It's got quite a few juicy details in there.
Take a look.
No, because I went through the Form 20 and I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite deep into it. It's like on page 15 or something like that.
I sent you guys in the Crossfire DM if you want to take a look, Nib. And shout out to the great, I call him the community's accountant. Shout out to David Faulkner. He sent me this, and so did Eric, the producer. Eric, by the way, you're in the chat right now. I don't know if David's listening over there in Australia, but you both sent me that article legitimately within 3 minutes apart earlier tonight. But I sent you this, and I don't know what David got into it for me here, but it was a what layoff warn notice. Bungie, Inc., Sony Interactive Entertainment, a video game developer and publisher, will lay off 292 employees. So I guess then what I did was I went and asked the community's accountant, David Faulkner. I said, so David, a little bit of context here. He says 292 fully laid off, around 100 redeployed. The speculated 400 was supposed to be affected staff, so it wasn't far off the mark. Bungie has a few over 900 headcount as of last week. So originally they were saying 400, 292 were laid off. It was supposed to be 400, 100 of them redeployed. So when I asked David, I was like, what do you mean by redeployed? I mean, I know what he means, but he was saying, he said here, kept within SIE and given a role at another studio, transferred to XDev or moved into a supporting studio
So it's really 192 layoffs.
At 292 got laid off, 292.
No, but that's including 100 that are redeployed. So really it's 192.
Yes, 100 were redeployed. Yes.
Yeah, so that's basically half of what was
half of
that's
what
actually
was
not too bad. Yeah,
don't get me wrong. It's not. Nothing there was great news. But I mean, if you heard 400 and now you're hearing 200, and again, that's what I'm hearing. Shout out to Eric as well. We were talking about the DFS. We were Eric, but you were talking to David. Okay, maybe you were talking to David as well. I didn't know. I should have known.
You raised David. It's funny that you raised David, Mooch, because I was literally just about to say before. In response to Nib, I said I was about to say that people think that it's the big shots that know what they're talking about, when all they do is write articles based on things that the small fry who actually do the research learn and put out, because it's all based on the evidential facts. And I was going to say, if you're going to follow anyone for accurate information, follow the likes of David Faulkner, follow the likes of Nib, follow the likes of Leviathan Gamer.
Yeah,
because they're the people. I mean, Nib's a lot more vocal than both Falky and Leviathan. Leviathan's pretty much a mouse, really. He barely squeaks, but they know their shit, and for the most part, they go under the radar because people don't realize what they do, and they literally spend hours peering over papers and learning the facts to bring you the honest truth. And what do these guys do? They listen, they take what they've said, create articles based on what they've said without doing any of the legwork. But what you should be doing is going to the source, and that is those who actually read the papers, like Nib, like Leviathan, like Tolkien.
And that's the thing, right? Because I find a lot of gaming media, Eurogamer, IGN, whatever, they basically just parrot without going to the source. So, what's his name? Takeshi is it? From Bloomberg. He'll write some erroneous thing that isn't accurate, and they will all parrot the same thing. And then, like, someone like me or whoever else, they will go to the minutes of the Square Enix meeting, go through exactly what was actually said during the meeting or during the financial conference or whatever, and then quote the real thing. And it's like, but they're not covering that. They're just going by what this analyst sort of reiterated based on his own memory of it, which is not even accurate to the minutes. So that's what I mean. Like, gaming journalism, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. I'm just saying, in a general sense, gaming journalism is really lacking. It's like I like all of it needs to kind of have that more fine-tuned sourcing. And it's like sometimes I think, did these people ever do theses? Did they ever do essays at in their universities? Because this level of sourcing would not, you'd get a fail.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question though. I want to get on the Bungie and Xbox layoffs. I do want to talk about it. As far as Xbox goes, compulsion. I believe Jason Schreier also came out earlier today and said that the rumors of Ninja Theory just being closed and this and that is not true. So Ninja Theory is not closing. I didn't hear anything about closures. I don't know if Gaming Ledger or
no, Mooch. What he's saying is they're not closed yet. It's going to happen in July.
Oh, he was saying it is going to happen still.
Yeah, because they're not.
I must have read it wrong.
Anybody yet?
Okay.
No, I don't believe they're officially closing yet. Right? You usually do it after. Well, I mean, they could do it before new fiscal year, but
let me see here.
I think the official time will be sometime in July. I think they're just trying to get everybody who wants to get a buyout or save themselves that reprieve time. That's what I heard. Like, that's what Jason Schreier reported. It's like it's not technically a closure yet, but effectively that's where they're going.
Okay, I must have misread.
By the way, I just to gaming. It wasn't from there. It was from a filing they posted to the United States Security and Exchange Commission. It was like a legal filing, and they had the details enclosed in that.
Bring back Concord for fuck's sake.
Don't go there, Wooly.
Fuck that shit, bro.
Don't go there.
Just allow the live service stuff. Just permanently.
Concord. If we had Concord and the Last of Us factions 2 right now, I'd be so happy, bro.
They should just fix Marathon. Play around with Marathon.
Believe me, they are. So Marathon, I had that as a topic as well. Marathon's entering PvE coming out in July. They're really you had Herman Helst come out today and say they're backing Marathon. They're backing the people that are still at Bungie. They're putting their money in the Marathon. Marathon can develop in this stuff. I don't listen. I can't get. It's hard to get anybody in the community that really wants to kind of jam out to it. I know Ocelot. I know you're in the chat. I don't know why we still haven't linked up for some Marathon, buddy. But
Ocelot loves Marathon, bro. He got me into
He does. He's great. I listen. I haven't played it in a bit now because besides playing, I'm trying to get now. I'm hooked on getting I beat Alan Wake 2. Now I'm trying to get the platinum. I've got I think there's 89 trophies in there. I think I have 80. I have to get another 9 trophies. But But anyways, it is what it is. I think that Marathon is a good game. I think it's polished. I happen to like the extraction genre. I will say they made the game initially a bit on the complicated side, and they didn't have to. A lot of the items you actually have to stop. You have to actually read what's going on with them, when to use them, where to use them. The economy in the game is still kind of it's murky. It's just it's expensive to just have heals and shields, and that shouldn't be the nature of the game. That shouldn't be it. The nature of the game should be the focus on that runner versus runner combat that they want you to play. And they've made so much of it where you're just trying to hold on to the items, not necessarily the guns, because they do a full wipe every season, but the items to collect to fabricate heals and shields and many other things. It's just it's cumbersome in the world. They didn't need to do all that. The other thing that really kind of questions people is a lot of people don't like the color palette. They don't like that. I don't mind it. It's unique. It's different. I mean, I play a lot. You guys know I play a lot of Warzone, a lot of Call of Duty. Not recently, but I've got a ton. I got a ton of hours into that stuff. And for me to go and change into something like that, I welcome that kind of change in the color palette. I like it, but it's not for everybody. So I'm not going to go down that path. I know how the panel feels. Woolie's probably giving it a shot now. I know Nib doesn't care for it. DS definitely doesn't care for it. Ledger, are you in on Marathon? Are you mediocre?
I'm not. I mean, with the lack of time I have these days, I'm more of a single player gamer now. Only because I can't level up to a certain point and be competitive. But yeah, but I do think that keep Marathon, play around with it, start testing. Bring up that capability, bro.
I don't know. I think it could be a cost sink.
It's a sad, just you've already bought Bungie, wrote off a good portion of it, write it down.
Yeah, true.
Just play around with it now. Just get them to come up with you bought them. Yeah, you bought them for their expertise in live service. Now just see if you can get something out of them.
I mean, you can take a game like that and tweak it, right? So now they have the PvE model. The PvE really does stand. I've read a bit of the game notes on it from the developers, and I will say from Bungie themselves, it's not like an extraction. It's not the extraction. So what you gain and the things you pick up in the world of PvE, you do not get to extract with those. You do get to collect experience points and things like that to upgrade your character in the other effects of the game. But it's not like you don't keep the guns, you don't keep things like that in the PvE. But people are kind of saying, oh, this is kind of their attempt to be a bit like Destiny. I see Blessed Ready said they should have just made Destiny 3. The thing about it, Blessed, and I said I hear you, but if they came out with Destiny 3, they'd be like, oh, Bungie's just, wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Oh, man,
Here
we
we
would
go.
say that, Mooch.
I didn't say I would say that. I said people
He said
would say
Destiny
that.
3, not Destiny 8.
Yeah,
well,
but
you can make 9 Halos and Destiny 3 is too much.
But Nib, Destiny 2 was
only
10.
a fanboys are gonna say that.
Whoa. Not necessarily. Let me just correct you for a second. Destiny 2 was 10 years long. I mean, you could say that, but it was 85 expansions, and you read off the different metas. Some hit high, some hit real low. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to.
It's too old in the tooth. We need a higher production.
That's what
next-gen visuals.
I just said that.
Yeah.
I just said that, and you were like, "Come on, it's only 2 of them. It doesn't matter, 2. It's the longevity. It's Destiny is gone."
What I mean is, that's why we tipped over to the point where we need a Destiny 3.
Destiny 1 and 2.
It's like beating a donkey. It's like, how old is this fucking thing now?
I got it, but we
need to reinvigorate.
So besides a new engine and having ray tracing, it's going to be the same shit.
So but that's where they need to utilize the technology to make it not the same shit.
Right? Well, that's on them. You're right, Nib. I'll give you that. But Destiny 1 and 2 went 12 years between, right? It came out 2014, and here we are in 26. Yeah. So it went 12 years. That's the same iteration, and that was nonstop. That's the same iteration saying we had 4 Uncharted's. It's like it's like it may not be the same duration, but you had gaps between those. My point being is that I think they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Now, do I think they should do a Destiny 3? I like Destiny. Bring on Destiny 3. I'm fine with it. But the minute you say Destiny 3, people are like, oh, here we go again. A $70 or $80 expansion. Here it comes. It's like it's the same shit. So it's like you're going to hear people complain no matter what. Now, they tried something new. Right now it's currently just not working. It's not working. There's nobody there playing.
The biggest issue for Destiny going for it, in my opinion, is the fact that they they get rid of content that people buy, and a lot because it gets too big. You keep having a game run as a live service for 10 years,
right?
And releasing it episodically through expansion. Is stupid, because what you're doing is you're alienating your existing fan base gradually through the removal of content to make way for new content. What they should do is make a Destiny game for 3 or 4 years, and then finish polishing it and sunset it for a year or 2 year period where people are enjoying a fully robust, complete experience. Whilst making the next iteration. This whole live service push has been so idiotic and stupid, and people have just been taking it to stupid degrees. 10 years for one game, and they didn't think or anticipate that problem that they would have. Like, what are you doing? That's why there's no players, Mooch. Because that's literally the reason.
Well, the thing is there's been I hear you, but there's been a resurgence. There's like 200,000 people playing Destiny 2 now. But I just checked on SteamDB. There's 9,000 people playing Marathon. That's not good. It's not good. And they had a free, if you would, try before the game came out in the server slam. And then they did a week free, if not 10, I think it was 10 days because of the complete flub that they had when they launched Season 2. So they had 10 days, and that didn't move the needle. And now they're saying with PvE, they're not saying. The community's saying, hey, maybe it's a good idea to have another free week when you introduce PvE. The thing is, at this point, either make it free to play, but free to play really hasn't answered. Asking for $40 hasn't answered the call. There's just a lot there, you know? Shout out to James Vincent. He says,
like I said, man, I don't know. They have cooking in the background, so obviously I have my hands tied behind my back as to what to project what would happen. But based on everything I have seen, I think it's like a cost sink, and I don't think they can turn this around. But again, who knows? Maybe they have some incredible content, but yeah, they need to get working on whatever they're doing. If not Destiny 3, it has to be some sort of super ambitious.
Yes.
Yeah, like the new IP, but with casual appeal.
I agree, Nib.
The only way to get casual appeal is to keep the content and not get rid of it. So that if somebody jumps into the game late, they're not faced with a wall of catch up already.
I would also say they don't have to release a live service thing straight away. Even if they did a single player project with all their amazing history and chops, whatever, if they release a single player game in between their next Destiny 3 or whatever, I would love that too, and you can even get an IP on the map before the multiplayer side of it comes out. Like this is Bungie we're talking about.
I think they should just treat Marathon like their outbreak monkey. Just try testing things, seeing how it works, and then for your next game,
you know what? That sounds like an easy thing, but you know what? That's interesting, Ledger. I'm kind of riding with you on that. Use this thing. At this point, we know what it is, right? You're not all of a sudden going to wake up tomorrow and have 200,000 people playing it on Steam. So it is what it is. Use this thing, figure it out, then use that world. And I got to say, they made some great improvements going from the alpha beta to when it started, to the launch. But again, shine this son of a bitch up. Get this thing looking right? Like really, really put the bells and whistles on it now that you have the structure built. Enhance things. Take a little bit away from the oranges and the yellows. Okay? And let's get down to business. But I think really what we're saying at the end of the day is it's Destiny 3. You know what I mean?
But Mooch, how much is that going to cost?
Right?
That's the thing. You can't cost too much. You got to play within a sandbox.
That's what I'm saying. Bungie is not a small studio.
So I was going to say the thing. So what I was Nib, let me answer your question. 100 million. With what they are,
that's way too much.
You think that's too much?
It's way too, especially for like such small player numbers. No way. That's a cost sink.
Well, no. I'm saying no. I was trying to say that would be what they would turn into that new game. Take what they have and turn it into a new game. Stop. Marathon would cease to exist and they would move on to something else. Take what you have and build off of it with another 100 mil. Listen, I'm throwing numbers at you that are willy-nilly. I'm not saying, Nib, you can run to the bank with this. But if you have what you have built, and they said that was probably a little under 200 million to build what they have right there, another 100 million, salvage what you have, build off of this, and make a game that people would want to play, something completely different. Not Marathon. Something else. Marathon would cease to exist. You move on to something else using basically a lot of the assets you have and build off of it and make something else. That would be something. Does that hold water, or you just can't do it?
Make a goddamn first-person Mass Effect game.
Well,
do it. Work with BioWare.
Hey,
and make
sign
a
me
Mass
the
Effect
fuck up,
shooter.
dude.
Yes, that would be
Don't
fine.
work with BioWare. That's a fucking stupid idea. BioWare.
Yeah, not with BioWare, but a first-person like Mass Effect style game. I'd love that shit.
Yeah,
And imagine the home hub. You take a ship and it's a fucking citadel with a whole city of people and shops and everything. That'll be crazy.
Doing something like that, but they'll most likely make Destiny 3.
Imagine you're like Shepard's progeny and you're like the next Master Chief. And what if like they freaking, I don't know, like people always compared Mass Effect to Halo and thought, what if they are actually secretly in the same universe? Like, other clues, other hints, people would dig for that shit because they were so similar. And it's like, imagine like if like you're playing, they would be perfect for a Mass Effect first-person shooter kind of. Oh, mate, it would be sick.
Lock them in a room with Sony Santa Monica and Naughty Dog to get the narrative and make it a single-player game.
I'm just geeking out right now, bro. I'm geeking out right now.
The thing is that no one can touch the Mass Effect IP. EA will take that to the grave. But then you also there's other people playing around with it because Mass Effect is AFK at the moment. So I think they'll just make a new Destiny because there's tons of story to explore.
I wasn't saying actual Mass Effect, by the way. I meant something in that kind of
Exodus is the new Mass Effect, and Exodus looks insane, bro. Also, The Expanse looks incredible. Like those two games are going to easily scratch that mess of. Mass Effect.
When is Exodus? Is that a 26 or 27 release?
27.
27, right? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be 26.
Thank God for please let it be 27.
Funny thing, you were saying that, Willie, and someone ages ago they asked me like, what would be your like dream game? And I was saying like, if Naughty Dog made a sci-fi Mass Effect style game, but with also cyberpunk, like you go to certain cities and planets that have more cyberpunk, like, and other cities that are like futuristic citadels and stuff. So a space hopping fucking detective game. That was my pitch.
Basically, a rogue Star Wars game.
I was just gonna say,
and one of the scenes I had in my head was you're going through this futuristic fucking citadel.
Sounds like
glass ceilings.
Listen, not everything you said, but it sounds like intergalactic.
Kind of. But then I was thinking, like, imagine glass domes, like a bit like the UNC and all the Mass Effect city. But a fucking pirate ship comes down, they smash through the glass, and it's a whole set piece, the whole fucking city that is on fucking fire. You're going up on the glass domes and all this other, because only Naughty Dog can do shit like that, right? Like the kind of set piece spectacle that no one else can pull off, and that would be like my kind of dream game. And then you're right, I do, is kind of like that, but I don't think it will be as sci-fi. I think it will be more of it on this planet sort of thing, and not as much traveling around the galaxy and stuff. But
Bespoke says Bungie.
Porsche. She's got a freaking Porsche spaceship, bro.
I know.
I know. Outrageous. It was like, what?
I'm so hyped for that game.
I think they're gonna get a new IP though. I don't think, like, if you read what Herman Hulse's letter sounded like, it's like, yeah, it's over for Destiny. And traditionally Sony doesn't really go back to IPs that they're either done with or have not done well anymore, right? So like they're pretty, actually that's a good thing about Sony. They actually move on to new IPs, which I think is fresh. Otherwise you're in this this repeat cycle, right? Like Xbox, for example, you got Halo, Gears, and Forza. It's been like that since 2005, 6, 7, right? So like I think they will just go to a new IP.
I think they'll just make Destiny 3. Just won't call it that.
Well, the thing is, shout out to Eric, the producer. He says Destiny 3 would cost $500 million. I don't know about $500 million, but a lot.
To be honest, if they were to make it just another Destiny 3, they would call it Destiny 3 because the IP name carries weight.
I agree.
So they're not. They wouldn't sabotage themselves.
No, I was joking before. I think if I was riding along with what Ledger said, why don't you use this thing as your scapegoat? Like, try things out. Bring different ideas to the world, and I thought then if they do find some sort of formula within their developing studio, they say, okay, listen, A marathon is going to be, ending here, and this game picks up, and it's a game they really feel confident in. They put more money into it. They go. If they go the route of what we just went down that little path, then DS is right. Call it Destiny 3, and that is Destiny 3, and we move on. I don't know. For some reason, Sony doesn't sound like they want to do Destiny 3. I don't quite understand that. I mean, with the love that game has, and with the way it could develop, shit, get a. I know Sony doesn't really do this. Team up with somebody.
You know what we
team
need,
up with somebody for the financials and split that shit. I don't know. You're gonna make a lot of money on Destiny 3.
You know what Sony needs, Mooch? They need a studio. They need a general studio director or coordinator in the vein of Yoshida, right? Shuya Yoshida.
Yes.
Who says to them, work on Destiny 3, but this is what we want from you. Don't make it a 10-year freaking.
I'm with you on that. Let's not do the 10-year thing.
Scrap that and give them some direction, because unfortunately, Bungie have a history of being up their own ass. They do. They have a real bad history with it. They think they're the big shots, but they haven't really proven themselves to be the big shots, because not in a long and they unfortunately they think they're like the
because the executives are too busy buying classic cars and mansions. They ain't thinking about that shit anymore, dude.
It's outrageous, bro. And they're very incestuous, and I don't mean that in a literal way. I mean it in, they've just, the way they go about business, just it's not great. They haven't got the most professional heads on the shoulders. So like I do think that they need to kick up the arse, and they need someone like say, scrap all of this whimsical nonsense with the 10 year. Why do you want to make the game a 10-year long game?
Yeah.
What part of that, apart from it sounding impressive, actually relates to a product that people
make Destiny 3, and 5 years later Destiny 4. Bespoke says Bungie needs to split into 3 teams. One team supports Marathon, and the other 2 make remakes of PlayStation's top FPS games, Killzone, Resistance, etc. They need a quick turnaround that would make them good money. Bespoke, listen, from a business standpoint, if they were to sign off on that, the talent's there. That's interesting. I don't know if that would ever happen, but
the thing is, though, Mooch, I love Killzone 2, right? I have hundreds of hours in it, but it never sold that well.
No, it didn't.
So it's not something that commercially is necessarily viable. As much as I would love a remake.
It was different back then, Nib. It was different back then. Everybody was into the multiplayer. Everything was novel back then. So great games got pushed to the side.
It did, but it's a risk, isn't it? It's a big financial risk.
And I had mentioned that.
So you know what they could do, right? They could just, and I think they're going to do this.
Imagine Resistance.
I think what they're going to do is just start licensing these IPs out to AA studios.
Yeah.
So that they can make their exclusive, right?
Yeah.
It's cheaper on costs. You don't have to acquire the studio.
Nope.
God knows that didn't work, right?
So, it doesn't.
I think that's like the traditional Sony model, right?
We've read that too. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Ledger. So yes, we've been reading that. I had inclined to say earlier that it was Sony that was pushing back. Shout out to the OA. He says, I think Bungie is the one not willing to do Destiny, and that may very well be the case. I know that eventually, sometime in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to get a DM from Ledger saying, hey, I got to go because he's got family stuff to take care of. I do want to do this. It's at 20 minutes to 11. It's been a long week, not just news and gaming, but just a long work week. I'm going to go ahead and call it for tonight and say outstanding show. I appreciate it. Guys, let's be impressed. I mean, come on. We did about 6 or 7 topics. Some of them overlap, but I mean, that's like it's not a CrossFire record, but it's up there. It's up there. Shout out to everybody that's here, by the way. Thank you guys for the super chat. Shout out to Eric, the producer, who was giving me notes in the DM. He always keeps the show rolling with great news and info. Shout out also to David Faulkner, who stopped by in the DMs as well and let me know what was going on in a few topics. But these guys are fantastic. What an outstanding panel. Please, guys, hit the like button, too, while we're doing our outros. I'll go in reverse order.
In the comments, they're all saying my game idea, detective, duo, space hunting,
yes,
criminals, and solving crimes. People love it.
They love
People love it. I'm telling you.
So Nib,
Naughty Dog, make this game. I'll be the director.
Nib the producer. Nib the developer. I like the ring of that. It's got a nice ring to it.
No, don't make Nib the director. He absolutely loves the long 10-hour monologue.
I was just gonna say, he'll way too much.
I won't. I'll use economy.
Yeah, I can't. Nib.
Literally, the script, the narration will be essays, bro.
I didn't say I'm going to be the writer, the director.
This
walking exposition.
I'll give you the sickest set pieces you've ever known. Trust me.
It would be Kratos and Freya all over again, bro. Fuck's sake.
Oh,
yeah, trust me. I'll do you a space version of what's that? You know that scene in is it the Batman Rise of the Batman? You know what's the one where Bane and the two planes like joined together, and there's that big heist
scene in cinematic history, bro. Stupidest.
But imagine a sci-fi version of that in space, like two fucking jets in hyperdrive, but you have to combine them together to do a heist. That shit would be fucking epic, dude.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wrote in the chat.
Winning me over.
And now that part of the show where Nib makes the show go 25 minutes longer. Shout out to the great Nib, by the way. You guys can't beat a guy like Nib. This guy's on fire on X. I know he goes, don't follow me, but you got to go follow him. It's just too much entertainment. Nib, outstanding to have you on the show, buddy. Great as always.
You're always a pleasure.
Pleasure's on this side of the microphone. Totally appreciate you, buddy. Do you want to go ahead and let people know where to find you, or would you rather stay incognito?
Don't follow me, man. I got too many followers now. Told you earlier. Remember, before we started the show, I actually preferred it when I had less.
That's what I'm saying.
Following.
All right. Well, I'm not going to say don't unfollow, but just don't go follow Nib then. I've never said that on the show before. It's very funny. Shout out to the great Wooly Gamer. Wooly, great to have you, buddy. We'll have you back on the show now that you're back in the social media scene. Wooly, I'm already sure that you have Twitter somehow on fire as the show was going on. But Wooly, great to have you, buddy. I always love your enthusiasm in games. It doesn't matter if I agree with you or not. I think you're just such a great gamer. You're always into the new games. You spark attention and interest in so many IP that people sometimes overlook. So, Wooly, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Let people know they can find you on your new X account.
I love and appreciate you, Mooch. Always, brother.
Thank you, Wooly.
And I've loved being with the panel. And Space Detective Judo. That is the name you need to make this game. Nib, reach out to the developers of Rebel Galaxy, bro. Reach out to the developers of Rebel Galaxy.
That's too funny.
Pitch your idea and go, let's do it. And
listen,
bro.
I got some crazy ideas in this brain. When I was young,
there ain't no way.
When I was young, and my aspiration was to be a comic artist. So I used to do comic art. I had all these fucking stories written out. All stories,
mate. Reach out to Rebel Galaxy Outlaw.
Reach out.
They'll do it. There ain't no way Neil Druckmann's hiring your ass, but they might.
That's right.
But yeah, bro, you can follow me at my name's Wooly Gamer on Twitter, or WWCOG _ podcast is my new Twitter handle. But yeah, I've come back. I was gone for 7 months, so my old account, which I deactivated, was deleted after 3 months. So started again. I had 5,000 followers, then I had 2,000. Now I've got 200. But yeah,
this is not true. He actually was reading Death Singer and deleted his account. He couldn't.
You're shit staring, bro, and we all know that's not true.
Yeah, let's not go there. My lord,
that made no sense. And you just won round 2 of Death Singer versus Wooly going into 5 o'clock in the morning.
He was like,
it ain't
I have to come back to Death Singer. I have to delete my account.
Yeah. Anyway, all that shit aside, thank you for having me. And go follow David Faulkner.
Yes.
Go follow Leviathan Gamer.
Yes.
And go follow, what was the other guy? Oh, yeah, Nib, that dickhead.
That's right. Yo, shout out to you, Willie. Appreciate you being here. Death Singer, everybody. DS, outstanding to have you as always, buddy. I am going to be talking to you as the fall progresses, because if you're not playing certain games that I'm playing, I still want to hear what you're playing. I'm always intrigued. And he also gets people really kind of excited in a different genre. And he's kind of gotten me to look at certain games. Haven't picked them all up, but I have played a few games thanks to the great DS's recommendation. DS, if you're still here and awake, we'd love to say goodbye to you, buddy. I really appreciate you being here tonight, DS.
Yeah, no, I am still here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because I was just doing a little bit of gaming.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, great show, great panel as always, and go play some games because this year is chocked full of games, and also the Steam summer sale's happening. So go pick up some good bargains.
Yes, DS. If you find some good, I wrote this to you earlier. I meant that sincerely. If you find some good steals, write me.
It depends on what you're looking for, right? Because Steam has a shit ton of stuff.
It's true. It's true. But you have an idea of the games, even if they're in your particular and you go, I don't know. Let me know because honestly, you've mentioned a few ones, and if they're at a great sale, why wouldn't I pick it up?
Final Fantasies are on a good sale right now. Rebirth 16. If you don't have them on PC yet, they're all going for a good value right now.
On that point, I did want to say for anyone listening, if you are tempted to buy GTA 6 or whatever, don't buy it directly off the PlayStation or Xbox store. Go to, one of the code websites. I don't know what they are in America, but in the UK, there's like Shop2 and Loaded and Aniba. And actually, Aniba does America as well. But go to one of those, buy a discounted top-up voucher, even GameSpot. Is it GameSpot? GameStop? I don't know. In America, one of those stores. They're doing the $80 top-up voucher, I think, for $10 off right now. So buy a top-up voucher, redeem it on the store, and then buy the game. Then at least you get a saving. I got 20% off GTA 6. So
Nib, do me a favor. Nib, if you happen to be back out there, just send me the link to that. I would love to save 20%.
That's what I do. That's what I do. You just buy like £100, buy £100 top-up voucher on sale for like £80 or £80.
Yeah,
and then top your card, top your account up, put the code.
I was gonna do
and
that.
Then you're buying,
so I actually knew I was going to pre-order this a long time ago. So when Shop2 had 20% off all the top-up vouchers, I topped up like £200, and then I just pre-ordered like everything. The only thing I had left to order was GTA. So
that's brilliant, actually. That's a great idea, guys. Please do follow that advice. That saves you a minimum 20%. Nib, thank you, buddy. And I'm going to be asking for that link right after the show. Shout out to the great Gaming Ledger.
Eric, he got his $100 copy for 88, so he can post it in the comments as well.
Yeah, Eric, if you could post anything there, buddy, let people know. I appreciate it. Eric, the producer, everybody. Gaming Ledger, let people know they can find you, buddy. And I was glad you could sneak away from work or family or anything just to be here, Ledger. We'd like to have you on more often, buddy.
Well, thank you, and it was my pleasure being on the show. Great panel. You can find me at the Gaming Ledger. I mostly just follow the business side. I post about the business side of gaming. I'm more into like the strategy and sometimes I'll deduce PR speak for people, and they can either yell at me and tell me I'm wrong.
I will add, just to boost him up. Willie was giving the names of a few people, and I don't know why you mentioned me, but. Gaming Ledger 100%. Wooly, you need to add him to your list. He does similar kind of very detailed business analysis. And I would say if you want Gaming Ledger, honestly, trust me. Again, he sources his stuff, loads of insightful stuff that you won't get from regular media.
Oh, legend.
So I would follow him.
I will.
Thank you. I don't think I go into the metrics that you do, Nib. I see yours, and I'm like, that's too much work for me. I'm just going to give you the strategy.
It's very good. Very good information.
I just don't understand how he has the mental thought. I used to write essays. I used to make videos on the train and shit, and they would take me like 8 hours. 4 years of doing that, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Mentally,
if something is juicy enough, I'll write about it. I'll be like, there's something off here, or like, and unfortunately, like Xbox is the sexiest business lead right now in terms of stories. Like everybody's down, obviously, but Xbox is the one that has strategy issues. So I have been covering them a little bit, and I don't think that community likes me so much, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Dune, Mooch. I see you playing Dune right now. I'm so excited for that.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm so excited, bro. We gotta play it together, Nib. Nib, me and you, bro. We gotta play.
Oh, you mean the game? I was talking about the movie.
He means the game. Yeah,
I gotta play that game, bro. Dune Awakening.
It does look like it's going to be a lot of fun. I watched people play it when it was on PC.
Than GTA, bro. I'm more hyped for that than GTA 6.
Good thing you didn't say that.
Are you actually serious right now?
No, I'm fucking joking, bro. What the fuck?
But by the way, you guys see the news? You see the leak for the GTA 6? I don't want to take the.
I saw that. Yes.
No. What leak?
Gameplay. Yeah, so there's gameplay. Amazon leaked some gameplay tidbits, and apparently social media is going to be built into the game. So you're going to be part of like I guess you're going to be taking videos and sharing it.
Yeah.
In
Well,
real time.
that's kind of building off of the phone you had in 5, so it's probably going to be
Yeah.
a little bit more into that. Yeah, I saw that. Actually, did you post it in the Crossfires? Yes, you did. It's in the Crossfire stuff. I saw that.
There.
A couple people just late broke that. Want to give a couple shout outs real quick. I just had it up, but then I switched it off real quick. Shout out to the Wise Old Gamer. Shout out to Wise for stopping by. He says, Mooch, you got an open spot. I said, Wise, always for you, buddy. Great to have Wise here. Brap, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, or you guys know him as Coach. July 9th, guys. Put it on your calendar. July 9th, he's coming back to Crossfire for at least the summer. So we'll have him back for a while sports take a break. Shout out also to Blaze 4K. It's Blaze_4K. We're going to be over there tomorrow. We're not Saturday, not Saturday this week. We're doing Friday and Sunday because he had some stuff coming up on Saturday. So tomorrow afternoon over on Twitch, I saw DJ follow me over there. Anybody else? It's right there below the description. It's right there, twitch.tv, Mooch TV. Just copy and paste that over into Twitch and follow. I see when you guys do, and I really appreciate it. So thanks to Blaze for stopping by. Appreciate him being here as well. And, of course, Wolfgang. You guys know him. He's over there doing everything Tekken and more. Does everything from Apple coverage to video games. I was going to say baseball. I don't know if he's doing baseball, but he's doing a lot of coverage on his channel. Go over and check out Wolfgang. Great show tonight, guys. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for the super chat. It means the world to me. Great panel. Outstanding conversation. Until we meet again next Thursday, go play some games. And we'll see you next week. Peace out. Good night.
Peace out. Are you still in it?